Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Welcome to another episode of Haqiqatjou, where we discuss religion and politics, the two least controversial subjects. As always, I'm your host, Daniel Haqiqatjou, and today we got a very interesting episode reacting to a viral documentary that was just published, literally 15 or 16 hours ago, exposing the Jewish community in New Jersey. And this is an Orthodox Jewish community that the popular YouTuber, Tyler Oliveira, I believe is how you pronounce his name, went to this community and videotaped them and interviewed them and, investigated them. And it's gone viral because, this is something that a lot of people are unaware of. A lot of people haven't seen specific microscope on the Jewish community, their practices, their beliefs, and sometimes some of them are engaging in fraud. Some of them are engaging in tax fraud, tax evasion, and other types of predatory practices even within their communities. And so this is something that Tyler has exposed. This is his second documentary looking specifically at American Jews. And people are clipping it, people are talking about it, and we want to watch it and react to it on the show today. So I hope that you will join me. And as always, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave me comments, leave me a super chat. I'll read your super chats as we're watching. And I was trying to debate, should we watch like parts of it? Should we watch most of it? We'll see. We'll try to watch it from the beginning and see how far we get. I also want to comment as we're watching from the Jewish religion itself, from the Talmud specifically, what kind of, when we're watching this documentary and we're seeing this behavior, is there any kind of religious text that justifies the kind of behaviors that Tyler is investigating and exposing? Like, where are they getting some of these ideas from? Turns out it's from the Talmud in a lot of cases. So we want to look at that. And maybe that's the kind of commentary that I'll give that Tyler doesn't give. I don't think he gets into the religious dimension of it. But I think that's a valuable component of the analysis, is to look at, okay, it's not just Jewish behaviors, but this is coming from the religion. And the broader context of this we'll talk about as well in a minute. But how are you guys doing? How is Ramadan? How is fasting? How has the month been? It's been less than a week, obviously. This is, I believe, the 5th day of fasting for us. So is the month going well? Hopefully you're now used to not eating during the day, not eating and drinking. So first couple of days might be difficult, especially for those who have a caffeine addiction or nicotine. Some people are smokers. If you have those kinds of addictions, it can be difficult to give up. You get migraines or headaches the first few days. Alhamdulillah, I didn't have any issues. I'm not addicted to caffeine. I can drink coffee or tea or not. It doesn't really bother me either way. I enjoy it, but I don't have a dependency on it. So alhamdulillah, from that aspect, it's easy. But some people, yeah, they go through some difficulty with giving up the caffeine. But now, alhamdulillah, we can, those initial difficulties are out of the way if you had them, and you can focus on worship, you can focus on Taraweeh prayers and Qiyam and everything that's great about Ramadan, alhamdulillah. So yeah, that's now that my kids are older, I have to teach them more. Like, they've been fasting for many years now, especially the oldest one. For many years he's been fasting. The 3 oldest, the 4th oldest, now he has had a couple of days where a full day of fasting. He's 7 years old, but he has to follow his brothers. He has to follow his brothers even when we tell him it's okay. So he tries, and sometimes he makes it, sometimes he doesn't. But we're very proud of him, mashallah. Was able to complete a couple of days now, so that's really amazing. But just teaching the kids, like, it's not just about lack of food, lack of drink. It's also about the higher dimensions of fasting. And what's really critical, what I've been trying to emphasize to them, is the tongue, and being very careful in speaking against your brothers. Like, should you be yelling or fighting, or you have to really be careful in Ramadan, because okay, you're fasting, but if you're insulting your brother, because you got in a fight, or you're like hitting your brother, that's not good. That's not good. That's something that we shouldn't be doing at any time, but especially in Ramadan. You shouldn't be getting into these fights over the toys or whatever it may be. So that's part of tarbiyah. That's a part of bringing up your children. Make sure that you're teaching them, like, that Ramadan is more than just refraining from eating and drinking. You have to inculcate these important qualities of Islamic adab, characteristics, that all children need and all adults need. So how are you guys doing with your kids, if you have kids? I'm sure, I mean, it's just a great time. Like, the most enjoyable Ramadan is with family. And if you have a big family, then you can really enjoy many aspects of Ramadan more than if you're just by yourself. And I think a lot of people they want that communal aspect of Ramadan, but because if they're living in the West, they might have been, moving away from their family. They're going to a different city to study, or a different place for their job. So they're missing that communal aspect with family, and they're trying to supplant that by maybe not so halal means, like certain social gatherings that are not really halal. They're not really permissible because they involve free mixing with the opposite sex. And that's a big problem. Like, this is a big problem. The free mixing problem, the halal dating problem. And I think it's becoming an epidemic. Like, even with religious Muslims, like quote unquote religious Muslims, they don't seem to view this as something that's bad or like prohibited, to like go and sit like and socialize and eat with the opposite sex, like just like a non-mahram. And it's shocking to me that this has become the norm. It's in some places. So and then there's this whole thing with Suhoor Fest. So Suhoor Fest, I'm going to do a video on that, and it should come out by tomorrow, or early tomorrow morning. It'll come out, inshallah. I have a funny, interesting reaction to Suhoor Fest for you. I didn't even know what Suhoor Fest was until I think I heard about it last year. Like, there was a lot of people reacting to Suhoor Fest last year, but this year was when I really, what is this? Like, what is this fest? And it's like basically a bunch of food trucks in a parking lot, like a bunch of halal food trucks and Muslim businesses, like bazaars, in a parking lot, and then people go hang out in light of Taraweeh, or post Taraweeh, for Suhoor. So, and obviously not everyone is going to Taraweeh, they're just going to the parking lot. And so unfortunately, like, there's some very questionable practices, haram practices happening in Suhoor Fest. So I want to cover that. I want to react to it. That video is going to come out, inshallah. So check it out. And yeah, a lot of content coming this month. I'm set to interview, inshallah, a very special guest. That interview is going to happen. It's supposed to happen today. We're going to record it, but there were technical difficulties. But inshallah, that's going to happen this week, and then hopefully it'll be released this weekend. It's a high-profile interview that you're going to really enjoy. We're going to go in depth. I really prepared for it to make sure that this is very interesting for you. So look out for that. And yeah, so let's just talk about This documentary from Tyler Oliveira. And let's see what you guys think. I haven't watched this, by the way. I have not watched this myself. So this is a genuine reaction. And yeah, so let's see what happens. So the first frame is "You're not welcome here." So that's a sign of things to come.
You're not welcome here, and you're not welcome in a lot of other places based on your videos.
You don't own this place. You don't own America.
No, you should move on. Nobody wants you here. Please move out.
Tyler, it seems like you discovered that anti-Semitism is lucrative, no?
So Pat obviously thought that we should pay for their money, so why don't you move to a different country? So
Why don't you go back to Israel? That would be my question.
I got
Keep
like,
the public safety.
I
Yeah.
would say 150 calls about you already.
What are they calling about?
People try to live a quiet life.
You two gentlemen, I saw a video of you walking into 136 Hillside. They asked not
Fair
to
enough.
come back.
Amazing.
If you come back,
I'm
it'll be a
trespassing.
trespassing charge.
You say anti-Semitism, I say anti-Goyism.
The Jewish community is extremely racist.
You have a group of people that call themselves God's people. You are a Semite supremacist.
Elon Musk has 12 kids. Why can't I have 12 kids?
He pays for them. You're arguing that I should pay for your kids.
I'm arguing that the government said.
That's our money. I pay taxes.
Excuse me, sir. What are you doing? Can I call the cops on you? Okay, that's it.
We may be in a corrupt hellhole. So what am I being pulled over for?
We got a call. Keep your hands on the steering wheel when you do so.
This is Lakewood, New Jersey, home to one of the largest and fastest growing Orthodox Jewish communities in America, having anywhere from 6 to 10 kids per family, causing the community's rapid growth to spill into the neighboring towns of Jackson, Toms River, Brick, and Howell, causing non-Jewish residents to fear that their town will soon be turned into Little Jerusalem, just like Lakewood.
The tactics with
Wow, 6 to 10 average children. That's really high. Because the average American, I think it's under replacement level. So we're talking about like 1.2 or 1.1 child per family, and they're having 6 to 10. That's quite well above the average. That's like 6 times the average in America. So New Jersey. And the thing to note, again, like Tyler Oliveira, he's an equal opportunity offender. Like he has videos on Hindus, he has videos on Muslims, he has videos on blacks, Africans. He has videos covering like all these demographic groups, poor whites even. I don't think he has done anything like this on like well-to-do liberal whites. Maybe that's something he'll do in the future. But so he's an equal opportunity offender. So no one can claim that, oh, he just has it in for this particular group. Like no one can claim that he is just targeting the Hebrews. Clearly that's not the case. Just a few weeks ago, he had something, he had the similar kind of investigation or reporting on Somali Muslims in Minnesota. So the way that he does this, it prevents them from really taking down his channel. Because if we were just doing a video on them by itself, I don't think his channel would last. I don't think that this video would last. Because you can see he has over 8 million subscribers. Okay, and each of his videos will get, on average 5 million views. So this is the first time that we see this kind of documentary going viral. And yeah, there's plenty of documentaries on Muslims that do the same kind of thing, portraying Muslims as kind of this fifth column within American society or Western society. In fact, you have someone like Borat, right? Borat or Sacha Baron Cohen, like this comedian from the UK who is Jewish, and he will go and he'll try to infiltrate these different communities and mock them, whether it's Christian, whether it's white American, whether it's Muslim, with Borat, Ali G, and just do this kind of lampooning of this minority population. That's allowed, like that's celebrated, in fact, that's promoted by the mainstream media, but you're never going to see something like this in the mainstream media. It has to be on YouTube, and even then it's like walking on thin ice. Even then, we don't know how long this video is going to last. That's why I have to react to it before it gets taken down. So just keep that in mind.
Within this community, I would liken it to organized crime.
You were the vice chairman of the Israel Advisory Committee for Donald Trump in 2016. How did you get a relationship with the White House? Who in the White House?
I think I don't want to say.
Who are we messing with here right now, Chris? Is this video a mistake, man?
I'm going to be honest. The powers out here are pretty immense.
It's not about Jackson. Jackson is a test case. If it isn't squashed soon, is going to take over the entire country.
It's already a problem in all the surrounding towns. You have billionaires from Lakewood being involved, people connected to the President of the United States.
In New Jersey, is there room for a two-state solution?
No, there's clearly not. I think it's going to be a fight.
I ride around Lakewood.
It's not going to be a two-state solution in New Jersey. It's going to be, annexation. It's going to be, that's what it seems like.
There are near Lakewood, outside of Lakewood, and all these towns around Lakewood, there are housing developments. Where Goyim live, there are no Yidden there yet, but all these housing developments, someone who they could turn it around. We saw what happened in Lakewood itself. There are a lot of other opportunities if people want to take that jump and become a shtickle pioneer.
As the Orthodox Jewish community consolidated political power in Lakewood, taking majority control of the Township Committee, Planning Board, Zoning Board, and School Board, financially depleting the public school system for non-Jewish kids, overwhelming local infrastructure, and turning a once quiet town into a densely populated, over-trafficked Jewish enclave prioritizing Jews over non-Jews. Before I investigate the Jewish takeover of Lakewood and of the nearby town of Jackson, I first want to visit the town where the blueprint was born, Monsey, New York.
Someone like David Badner saw the opportunity a few years ago. He bought 50 to 100 houses in Monsey. I believe that he single-handedly, in a certain way, turned around Monsey. These are opportunities that come up every once in a while, and someone has to step up to the plate.
Miller News, thanks for meeting up on such short notice, man.
Okay, I want to see how I can get your comments on the screen while I play this. So give me a second. Let me try to set that up. I want to display your comments. So there's some good ones here. How can I? All right, we'll try to see your comments. I'll display them as we're watching.
My Munslandians, you know we here. We outside.
When did you notice Monsey begin to form as a Hasidic Jewish enclave?
I would say 20 years ago, I saw the first start of it, and then every year, it just started to grow exponentially.
Hey! It's me. How are you? Stop what?
They on Tyler. Yo, they on Tyler.
Stop. But the Jews here were not happy to see me after I asked how they afford 7 to 10 kids on a single income and if they were on welfare in Kiryas Joel. How many kids do most people have out here?
17, 18.
How do they afford 17, 18 kids?
They are proud to do what the Torah says, that you need to be multiple and fruitful.
How do you afford to study the Torah, though?
God help me.
Does the American taxpayer help you, too?
Also, yes.
How do people afford to have such big families out here?
It's... I'm not gonna say anything.
Are you Tyler?
I'm Tyler.
Are you trying to do another anti-Semitism video?
How did I spread anti-Semitism? That's crazy you said that. Life circumstance, different culture. So this is their way of, like, listen, I know you're frustrated about what some of the things we focused on. Is that kind of what I'm getting at? Sure. So give me some examples of how things were misconstrued. Yeah, what did I get that was wrong?
So it's not necessarily misconstrued. Well, it is misconstrued. There's a lot of it that's, you'll cut a lot of it, cut out different words, make it sound a lot worse than it is. There's a lot of people here that are on welfare. A lot of people are in Section 8. A lot of people that are on a bunch of different WIC, food stamps, stuff like that.
Sure.
If you go to any low-income communities, you're going to see that. They're all going to be on the different welfares.
Okay, so they were on welfare.
Yeah,
okay.
No bit of denying that.
Okay.
But again, it's the way you say it, it's the way you twist it, the way you...
How did I twist it?
Not twist it, again,
How did
twist is the wrong
I'm
word.
just trying to understand where you're coming from.
Growing up in an extremely... Dude, go.
Ah, the insufferable hug. See, you say I misrepresent, and then they do that, like, come on.
I'm not saying they're all good people. It's like I said, wherever you go, there's going to be the idiots. There's always going to be the assholes wherever you go.
I totally get it.
You talk about the community.
It's just crazy that they all like know about him in advance. They all know about him and they're honking their horns. They're trying to get him out. So he has like a big target on his back.
It feels like you're trying to create a narrative that you did not find. You found people that are on welfare that have a lot of kids, but your headline did wrote welfare addicted Jews.
What is your frustration? I'm curious. Welfare dependent, welfare reliant, welfare addicted. What's the difference? Tell me. They need it to survive, and without it, they die. What is the difference?
It's addictive to bait click. That's an addiction.
That's an addiction?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you addicted to being a victim or what?
No.
The Goyim were grateful someone was finally bringing up their town's issues.
Are you grateful? Are you addicted to being a victim? Wow. Pretty funny.
They take all my money, these people.
You think they take the money?
Good, man.
Bienvenidos a Monsey con mi amigo. All right, see you, bro. How do you like living here as a non-Jew?
So-so. Well, I don't
What do
like
you mean
the
by
area.
so-so?
Because they're aesthetics.
Do they treat you as one of them? Like,
No,
are you guys
no.
on the same page?
No. They don't bother me because I don't deal with them.
Okay. Do you think there is large-scale welfare fraud out here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a lot. They get away with everything. They get the Section 8, they get everything, the free housing and, you know.
Do you think most people work out here in the Hasidic community?
No.
No? How do they afford their bills?
That guy looks like a Nazi, doesn't he? Must be a Nazi. I bet you if you he lifted his shirt, there'd be like a big swastika tattoo, like right here on his chest. He looks exactly like a Nazi to me.
I wish I knew. I would do the same thing too.
And what are your thoughts on the driving out here? I gotta ask you that. It's the most important question.
I don't want to talk about it.
The driving is crazy.
Okay.
You got a stop sign over there, they don't even stop. They just pass. You know, that's why so much traffic and accidents, and it's crazy.
You saw the Curious Joel video. Why was that video good?
That video was good because I've been in East Ramapo for as long as I remember. I also went to Spring Valley High School. I went to, I've been in the school system, and we've definitely seen a lot of things, especially since our school board was majority private school owners, mainly Jewish white men, and most of our school was not Jewish. And they had control over our public school system over like the past 10 years, purposely voting no on our school budget vote so that way we would fail, and we lost about 3-2 schools.
Basically, through block voting, Orthodox Jews won enough seats to control the East Ramapo School Board and went on to eliminate hundreds of public school positions like teachers and social workers, while approving millions of taxpayer dollars to be spent on their children's religious private schools, ultimately gutting the public school system for the estimated 9,000 black and brown public school students, while diverting that money to their private religious schools.
They give us food that's rotten and it's cold and it hurts our stomach.
I ask you, do not take our music program away. I love playing an instrument. My brother would be crushed.
And the budget cuts were so devastating that in one instance, an elementary school shut down, and the majority Jewish school board then voted to sell it to a Jewish yeshiva for pennies on the dollar. Basically, the poorest, most vulnerable kids in these communities had their schools gutted and looted, all by a majority Jewish school board whose kids didn't even attend public school.
The board member is literally named Rothschild. So that's like you can do that. Like if you're organized enough as a community, like you can take over a city council and you can organize like as a community enough votes to get those council members in those positions, and then they're just going to vote for your community's interests. Like that's a strategy that like given the system that exists in the US or even in the UK, like why wouldn't people take advantage of that? Like why wouldn't, whether it's Jewish, whether it's black, whether it's Hispanic, whether it's Muslim, whatever it may be, like you've set up a system that can be hijacked in this way. And then you're going to create like basically like if every group pursues that kind of strategy, then you're going to have a America that's just fragmented on the basis of whether it's race or religion or ethnic group. So that's kind of inherent. Like that's the way that the system, like it allows this type of manipulation. So, and that's, I bet you like this is what, when he interviews some of these members of this community, like they're going to say like, we're just playing by the rules. We're just playing by the rules. And so you can't really hold us accountable. We're the victim for you, by you investigating us and accusing us. We're just playing by the rules. I don't think that they are playing by the rules. I don't think that they're above board on everything. But in terms of manipulating the system, in terms of getting votes, in terms of getting people from your demographic into these positions of power, like, isn't that democracy? Like, isn't that colorblind democracy, actually? So if this is the result, then maybe there's a problem with democracy. maybe that's actually the issue here. Liberal democracy maybe is just wrong.
We believe that some of the decisions that have been made by the board have not been in the best interest of the public school community.
You don't like it, find yourself another place to live.
How was your education?
If you don't like it, find yourself another place to live. Simple as that.
My education, it was decent, but it definitely could have been better if we had the resources that we were allowed to have. But again, for the past 10, 15 years or so, people have been purposely voting no on our school budget vote, so that way we had no funding and money for our school. And, you know, that was done purposely.
And who was voting no?
Majority, the Jewish community. You, like, drive around here, you'll literally see signs saying vote no for our school budget, which I think is crazy. Luckily, we were able to get a ward system to be able to get 3 seats for, you know, the wars, but if it wasn't for that, we still would be majority white Jewish men voting for public school students that they don't care about. Yeah, and they purposely go out their way to isolate us. We're basically isolated to the point where we feel like this isn't our home.
A lot of people like to say they're ducking taxes and all that. There's truths and lies to that, but I could only tell you that I've only seen the bad part. The bad part is I've seen houses get broken down. I've seen certain spaces, buildings get destroyed for let's just say for more kosher customs, you feel me? So
okay. I want to thank you for showing our community.
Yeah, so Maximus says like a taste of Palestine. Yeah, imagine, like this is basically what the Palestinians experienced. After, you know, 1917, after World War I, when the British mandate, they signed the Balfour Declaration. You had these Jewish settlers coming in. And what did they do? Like this, exactly what they're doing to New Jersey, actually.
I don't believe in hiding. I believe we have a tremendous amount to be proud of. And like every community, we're different. We have our goods. Other communities have their positives.
Tell me about what are some of the best things about this community then.
Tonight at sundown, we shut our phones, we shut our cars, we go to shul. The most beautiful part of our religion, do you understand that Orthodox Jews can be anywhere? The sun is coming down and it's the last opportunity to pray what's called mincha, which is afternoon services. They could be in the most important meetings and they'll go pray. And they could care less about anything happening. The same things with Shabbos. We come home, our families are waiting. We sing Shalom Aleichem. We welcome in the Shabbos. And you'll say back Aleichem Shalom, right?
Could they feed 10 kids
Yes.
without those programs?
I am one of 10 children.
You're driving a G-Wagon, bro.
My father was never on any welfare. I used to reuse sandwich bags to save my father a penny.
That's great for you.
You're not welcome here, and you're not welcome in a lot of other places based on your video.
What about me, though?
I love you, man. You are funny.
You're not welcome here, so they own like this city, basically. You're not welcome in our city. Like imagine like you go to, like you're a white person, you go to a black community and they say you're not welcome. Or you're a black person, you go to a white, you know, KKK run, white supremacist community, say you're not welcome here. Your kind is not welcome here, actually. So that would make like the national news. That would make, that would be another Shoah. That would be something that would be covered in the New York Times front page. But if you go to one of these Jewish communities and they say, you're not welcome here, and they start harassing you, yeah, then you're the anti-Semite. Like, you're the anti-Semite who has disturbed these peace-loving people, religious people that just want to go to shul, that just want to celebrate, do their Shabbos and go to shul, and you're harassing them because you're a Nazi anti-Semite.
You don't own this place. You don't own America. I can do whatever I want.
Whatever you want.
Get in your G-Wagon, get to work.
You're not trying to bring people together. You never did, you never will. It's who you are. Somebody hurt you deeply, and I'm sorry.
He was right. Someone did hurt me. Whoever told my sponsors to pull out after making one video exploring a community of welfare-addicted Jews. If you want to help me avoid ending up on welfare too, and get access to all of these videos early, and watch never-before-seen content I can't upload on YouTube, go subscribe to my Patreon at patreon.com/Tyler Oliveira for $5 a month. Back to the video. After speaking to frustrated Goyim in Monsey, I headed to Lakewood, New Jersey.
Yeah, they're going to come after him like full force. So the least of his worries are going to be like, oh, he gets kicked, his sponsors drop out. Like, that's the least of his worries. Patreon is probably going to pull out. Patreon is going to be like, even if Patreon doesn't want to pull out, they're going to get sued. So they have no choice but to drop Tyler. Yeah, he's going to just be sued to death. They're just going to, like, all these frivolous lawsuits that they can throw at him. So unless he has, like, people who are going to throw money behind him, like powerful people who are going to try to create some kind of legal shield for him, he's gonna have a really tough time. Like, you can't like make a viral documentary on this particular community and not expect an overwhelming amount of frivolous lawsuits, getting debanked potentially, like maybe the full Monty actually in terms of the attack. And yeah, and what is he actually saying that can be considered as anti-Semitic? Like, he's just investigating.
Jersey, one of the fastest growing Orthodox Jewish communities in America, where a similar Jewish takeover has taken place, leading to the gutting of the public school system, all while turning a predominantly working class Irish and Italian town into Little Jerusalem.
I'm trying to merge a gap to see if there's any way that we could actually be one community. Because as you can tell, it's two separate communities. Look around. You will not see a non-Jewish resident here.
We got the Yiddish bus.
This is really all Jewish stores.
Sure.
Now, that pizza place, it's going to be kosher pizza, probably.
A lot of these signs are written in Yiddish, and everything's insulated. Basically, you come here to this plaza, get everything you need. Quite convenient, quite 100%. Nice.
Now, everyone can shop here, of course. We could go in and they'll be friendly, but everything's geared towards one community. But
and is it always this way? This part here, is this newly developed in the last?
Oh, yeah. So this used to be a concrete yard.
Got it.
So we're almost where we're standing. Used to have rows of concrete trucks.
Sure. It's bustling. Busy. Now, this place was packed with Jews buying groceries for Shabbos, but keep in mind, Goyim are fully allowed to come in here and shop whenever they please.
They're very friendly. I don't think anybody's going to be nasty to us. Is a lot of the fear bullshit warranted? Definitely not. Definitely not. But I do think they don't feel comfortable enough to do it.
But it's important to understand the bigger picture here. As kosher stores move in, more Jews move here too, creating a positive feedback loop where a town rapidly becomes a Jewish hub, ultimately changing the character and identity of a town, and in Lakewood's case, overwhelming the infrastructure. Before we explore the many implications of life for Goyim as towns like Lakewood become increasingly Jewish, I want you to understand how quickly the word anti-Semitism gets weaponized in real time out here.
Tyler, it seems like you discovered that anti-Semitism is lucrative, no?
Why do you think anything that you don't like to see is anti-Semitism? What have I said that's anti-Semitic? Go.
When you talk about people accepting government money, and the overlay is a bunch of pictures of fraud, you're trying to twist it to make it look like we're doing fraud.
There were welfare programs that were defrauded by Jews. What did I say that was a lie?
There are welfare programs that are defrauded by
Yes,
everybody.
and I made a Minneapolis video as well. I made several videos. Why are you being so sensitive?
What you're trying to make it sound is like anyone who accepts government money in the Jewish community is doing fraud.
That's your interpretation.
What you're doing is dangerous.
How is this dangerous? Why should you be treated like a protected group? You're asking for special privileges.
No, we're not. We're asking just to be fair, and you're not being fair.
I am being fair.
This is going to make you a lot of money, and it's going to gen up a lot of hatred towards a community that's seeing a rise in anti-Semitism that hasn't been seen in years. Every single day, our lives are at risk, and this is going to lead to more.
The chutzpah of these Jews whining about fair treatment when their billionaires have funded non-stop media campaigns against Muslims to depict Muslims as terrorists, as barbarians, as a fifth column, as sleeper cells who are just waiting. They pretend like your brown coworker Mo, okay, he might look like he's a nice guy, but actually he wants to slaughter you. He wants to cut your neck and murder your children because he's a follower of Islam. He's a Muslim follower of Islam. He's a sleeper cell. That's what they've been spreading on mainstream media for decades. For decades. It actually goes prior to 9/11. This is what they've spread. And now they just get a little bit of scrutiny, like a little bit. And it's like a fair-handed type of scrutiny from Tyler. Like Tyler is not like, as he says himself, he's being even-handed. He cares about defrauding the welfare system, whether it's done by Somalis, whether it's done by Hispanics or blacks or whoever. Even scrutiny from such a fair individual, okay, fair-handed individual, even that is too much. We're victims. You're an anti-Semite. You're a Nazi. You're not welcome here. It's just like, it's outrageous. It's outrageous how these people react, how they behave.
Literally got pulled out of the video once they learned the topic of that video. I lost the sponsorship. How is that lucrative? Tell me. So you say anti-Semitism, I say anti-Goyism. Listen, man, you got a kid in the car, I just noticed. Drive your kid home, get your groceries. You're getting honked at. Let's go. It was good to meet you, though.
So you're arguing with the United States because the president obviously thought that we should pay for their money, so why don't you move to a different country?
Why don't you move back to Israel then if there's so much anti-Semitism, right? Like that guy said. Why doesn't he go to Israel?
We are giving back.
In theory, welfare is a good idea. It's sweet, right? At what point is it too far? Because this is a program designed to help single moms after they get divorced and keep the kid from starving.
I also disagree with you that someone doesn't have a right to have a child.
I think you should have a child if you can afford it, right?
Interrupt real quick?
Sure. Let's hear it.
Okay. You two gentlemen, I saw a video of you walking into 136 Hillside. They asked not to come back.
Amazing.
If you come back, it'll be a trespassing charge. You're
Fair
trespassing.
enough.
If you don't like the laws of America and you think that the government welfare is stupid or whatever,
I would like to change the laws. Just like you would like to create anti-Semitism protection laws that give you guys protected classes and protection against anti-Semitism, whatever that means, right?
Yeah. So
why don't you go back to Israel? That would be my question.
Because I like it here.
Same here. I like it here, but I like to make some changes. We can both agree on that, right?
So please keep on moving.
Wow. I mean, this is the kind of rhetoric that you have from, they say this to Muslims, like just go back, go back to where you came from if you don't like it. And so if you use that line against like another American and say, well, if you don't like it, leave. Okay, like you're going to get the same reaction. He's going to tell you to leave. And he'll have more of a claim than you, like you and your enclave, like the enclave that you've created with your 6 to 10 children per family. Like, go back to Israel.
God bless you. There we go. He loves us.
I know. Make a change.
Yeah, you guys have group chats of me. You guys say, beware of this guy like I'm like Hitler or something. I'm like, come on, dude. I'm a nice guy. I talk to everyone.
Elon Musk has 12 kids. Why can't I have 12 kids?
He pays for them.
Your story point over here is that people can't have children if they can't afford them. You, as a society, are born from people who started with two people. Two. Okay? Adam and Eve. That's it. You want to go with the Big Bang, but it started at some point. There was two people. And now there's billions. And there was trillions throughout the world. So you're saying if you can't have
what
kids...
does that have to do with anything? All of those people didn't have welfare. Adam and Eve had Cain and Abel. Did they have a government
we live
to pay
in a government,
for
we
their
live in a
kids?
government that decides that if you have children, we're going to help you. Now, everyone does their part.
You should not have more kids than you can afford. You're arguing that I should pay for your kids.
Okay.
That's what you're arguing.
I'm not arguing that anyone should pay for the kids.
You are.
I'm arguing that the government said.
No, that's our money. I pay taxes. I shouldn't be funding your
And you
kids.
elected Donald
Should
Trump.
not be funding your kids. You don't pay for my kids. Okay, fuck, I could do this all day. Why don't you go?
No, you should go because
You
people
should
are, you're stopping traffic.
You should move.
Guys, let's go. Move on.
He's stopping traffic, not me.
Yeah, right. No, you should move on. Nobody wants you here. Please move out.
And it's true, like so much of tax money goes to these welfare programs, but also schools. Like so much, like the majority of some of the local taxes are actually going to school systems. And if they're like funneling it, as we saw like earlier, if they're funneling it specifically to their private schools, like that's a huge amount. We're talking about millions and millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in New Jersey that is getting funneled, depending on the township. So this is like, we're not talking about like shekels here, just a few shekels. This is a lot of shekels.
He was saying, Tyler, he loves me.
So
man.
we're not allowed here?
Come. You want to come to the corner?
Where? Over there? Let's go move. Let's go.
You know, I know what you did in the video, and we all saw it, and we still see it. But it's like,
What did I get wrong?
nobody can cross the government. The government knows everything. The United States federal government knows everything.
Not if you're fraudulently found.
No, it's not true. That if you feel that you live in a country that is corrupt,
I do.
Why are you still living here?
Well, not everyone has options, right?
I can give you a list of 15, 20 countries off the bat that you can live in.
Yeah, regardless, let's say America is corrupt, I still want to live here.
Corruption. You understand?
Oh, but hold on. Just because there is corruption here, which there is.
There is no.
What are you talking about? Let's not be silly here.
If there would be corruption, the FBI would love to come here first than any other location in the world.
Come on, that's not true.
Well, I read the numbers in
We had,
Minnesota.
22 people indicted for
I read
Medicaid.
the numbers in Minnesota. And listen, you can attack them as much as you want. What they did, that's big numbers, man.
Both of your schools had money laundering. You had people, yes, both of them.
There's 45 schools here.
So BMG had people that were charged with money laundering, and so did the school for special abilities.
As of when?
2019, 2018, 2017. Look it up. It's all over Google.
I don't look it up. You got to show it to me.
Come on.
95% of people in this vicinity between these 4 or 5 zip codes work very hard.
Yeah.
So if you want to go and dig in a place like here, Lakewood, where the same capital you're going to find in this small percentage.
You're making me want to dig now. You're making me want to look.
You're already digging, man. You're digging already for
I'm at Whole
for
Foods.
4
What
months.
are you talking about? 4 months?
What do you mean? Go break your head. You can keep on breaking your head.
I will break my head.
No
Yeah.
problem. Eventually, when you break your head too
Let's hear it.
much, you end up digging water. When you dig water, there's nothing under it.
You were in Jackson, which is really like a continuation of Lakewood. By the way, I don't know if you know how I toppled the government there. They had all these anti-Semitic laws. It was crazy. I had 2 conversations with the White House, and eventually DOJ got involved. But anyway, so I don't know. Are you already doing your Lakewood thing?
I'm here with Dr. Richard Roberts. You sold the pharmaceutical company for $800 million. You were the vice chairman of the Israel Advisory Committee for Donald Trump in 2016.
Yes.
And you reached out to me. Why did you reach out to me via email?
Because you...
Wow, so he's talking to some really high rollers here. 800 million. He's a big dog. Working with the White House.
Posted that, first of all, you did your video, Curious Yoel in New York, and got a lot of Orthodox Jews very, very upset.
But why did you reach out to me?
But towards the end of the video, you saw the altruism in the community, and you seem to respect that. And since I could see that you seemed to me to have a sincere desire to actually get the real facts, because if you were just bigoted against us, you wouldn't be struck or commenting on the altruism in our community.
But you casually toppled the Jackson government. A, what does that mean? B, how did you get a relationship with the White House?
I never spoke to DOJ. I did speak to people in the White House twice to tell them what was going on, because...
Who in the White House?
I think I don't want to say.
First off, though, so you mentioned Jackson's a continuation of Lakewood. You toppled the governments. You went to the White House willy-nilly. Called? Okay. You're connected to the White House.
By the way, I rarely leave my house.
Which just goes to show the scale of your connections, in my opinion. I hear this voicemail, I'm like, shiver me timbers, who am I dealing with a little bit here, right? Like, this guy's...
Little old
my,
me.
woo, all right, so he's calling.
And you might be wondering, why are mega wealthy Jewish power brokers connected to Donald Trump trying to set the record straight with a lowly goy tuber like myself? This all begs the question, why are they so afraid of me?
I think that they just don't want you to betray.
By the way, like, keep in mind, like, Muslims are watching this and they like cry about bigotry, anti-Semitism. Like, when you hear that and you laugh, okay, fine. You want to have a good time. You want to laugh at that. But try to take a lesson. Like, try to take a lesson, because this video that he's making is a product of the time. It is a product of this particular moment. This particular moment in American history or world history where woke is over, liberalism is on the downturn, liberal power is on a downturn. And so you will see like more racism, provincialism, more in-group selectivity. And that's why when he publishes this, people will laugh, and it won't like make a big difference. Like, oh yeah, they're accusing him of being a racist. What a joke. But if this was published 5 years ago or 10 years ago, those accusations of racism with the average person would have hit much harder. And people would be like, oh, well, this isn't actually funny. This is actual bigotry. This is actual, attacking a minority community. There was a different sentiment. It was a different America. It was a different context. And we're no longer in that context. That's why a documentary like this can be made. And what Muslims need to take away from this is that, well, Muslims sometimes play this card as well. And they do it in a very clumsy way, as clumsy as what you're seeing in this documentary. They make it, oh, that is Islamophobia. Oh, you're an Islamophobe. And oh, like that's their response to criticism. And I'm not saying that that's not the case. Yeah, okay, a lot of these people who attack Islam do hate Islam in a irrational, bigoted way. Fine. But just in terms of rhetoric, just in terms of your strategy in countering these people, it's not going to be seen as a very effective response. It's not going to be seen. It's not going to really rally people to your cause by crying racism, by crying bigotry. That's the kind of takeaway that so far that I've gotten, is that, this sounds ridiculous, but a lot of Muslims who use these kinds of lines, it can also sound ridiculous. So as I've advocated on my show and on MuslimSkeptic, like, we have to have a better response towards these kinds of critiques coming from, whether it's white nationalists, whether it's coming from populists, whatever. And that's why I debate. Like, I've debated all these white nationalists, and I don't play the, oh, you're a racist card, or you're a Nazi card, or you're whatever, bigoted against Muslims card. No. There's better, more coherent arguments that are consistent with Islamic values that can be deployed, that can be marshaled. And usually they don't have a response to those arguments. So just keep that in mind as we're watching this. Don't just have like a cheap laugh. Like, understand what's going on. Like, understand the bigger context.
Treat Lakewood in a bad way. That's really all it is.
Is there any bad to see?
There's bad to see everywhere. It's good to see everywhere.
Exactly. Good, bad, and the ugly everywhere, right?
100%. I used to live here in Lakewood when I was in 9th and 10th grade. I love Lakewood. There's so much Jewish life here. It's so easy to be Jewish, and everything's cheaper. It's amazing here.
Why did Lakewood become such a large Jewish hub?
So I think it started with BMG, Base Marriage Gavoa, and then you had a lot. You know BMG?
Yeah. Tell me more about BMG, though. Right? I hear it's like the Harvard of yeshivas.
Yes, it's top notch. You just sit and learn all day. You already finished your high school phase. Most people went to Israel already, came back, and they just sit and learn all the time. It's amazing. I used to do it when I was a teenager. Lakewood's an amazing place and everything, and I think I've seen your videos all over. I just think that people get nervous and stuff like that, but you're just coming here filming the truth, and you're working just like we are. That's it. We're all in the same boat.
What should we know about Lakewood?
It's a great place. You're always welcome here.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we've got, it's welcoming for the most part. A few guys are fired up. We try to give them the chance to speak, have a conversation. Do a little pss.
Okay, man.
What whisper did we miss?
Nothing. I gotta go now, but
I love it. To a T. A guy gets a whisper, then he goes quiet. Would you like to say anything? How you doing? Or with this guy whispering in his brethren's ears, he comes up when they're talkative and sweet, and he goes pss, 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 and then they stop talking. It is miraculous. Tyler, good to meet you. What's your name?
If I say something good, you're gonna put it on?
Let's go. So we just met up with the guy. He was like pissed off that we like come around here and explore. This guy's killing me, dude. The pss, pss. He's treating you like a child.
So good, the whole world's gonna laugh so nice. I know.
This is pathetic. He's treating you like a child. Who is this guy?
Why are you guys being told what to say?
Let the man speak. Okay, does that not look like suspicious activity?
Why is there so much secrecy if you have nothing to hide?
Why would he do that? He's the head whisperer. All right, tell me what you're going to say.
How much money everyone makes in this town? Crazy amount.
What?
The police is also going to follow us, just FYI.
They're going to follow us.
There's a police special response unit
and the cops had their internal monologue that they're gonna just trail us around.
Amazing. So given that the cops are being called so often, they're just gonna follow us around all day. Land of the free, home of the brave. And then I stumbled upon a...
So here it says, low-key Muslims should be as nepotistic as Jews. I disagree, because Islam doesn't allow us that level of nepotism and provincialism. Because the level of nepotism that they have and in-group preference that they have, it actually violates God's law. And Muslims are not allowed to have that level. I'll share some quotes on this from the Talmud. Let me just get this. Okay, for example. Okay, so extreme discrimination and cheating against non-Jews. Okay, so it's obligatory to charge non-Jews interest. This is from the Talmud, okay, or the Mishnah Torah, actually. Sorry, this is from the Mishnah Torah, which is their authoritative, definitive legal text. Okay, the Mishnah Torah from Maimonides. It is a positive mitzvah, meaning a divine command, to lend money to a Gentile at interest. You may offer interest to a Gentile. The oral tradition teaches that this is a positive commandment. This is the scriptural law. So it's like wajib. This is required. You have to charge interest to the non-Jew. It's permissible to withhold wages from non-Jews. It's necessary only to teach the halakha of one who holds the wages of a hired laborer. For a Gentile to do so to another Gentile and for a Gentile to do so to a Jew is prohibited. Okay, a Gentile can't, withhold wages from a Jew, obviously. But for a Jew to do so to a Gentile, it is permitted. This is from the Talmud, Sanhedrin 57a. Okay, this case is less obvious than other types of robbery, as instead of taking an item from the victim, the robber withholds money that is due to the victim. So they acknowledge it, that this is robbery, but robbery is allowed when it's directed towards non-Jews. Okay, Islam doesn't allow that. We can't do that as Muslims. But they believe, given the divine mandate, to withhold wages. Okay, withhold wages. Permissible not to repay non-Jews for loans. In the case of the slave, the halakha is stated with regard to an actual act of robbery committed against a Gentile. Halakha means their sharia, like their legal code. Actual act of robbery committed against a Gentile, but there, in the case of the Bereta, where it would be permitted to employ deception if not for the desecration of God's name, the halakha is stated with regard to abrogating his loan. Abrogating a loan owed to a Gentile is permitted because it does not entail actually taking money. Okay, this is also in the Talmud, Bava Kama 113b. Okay, so if not for the desecration of God's name, what Chilul Hashem, that's what it means that's what it is in Hebrew. It means if it's gonna bring a bad name to the Jews, if you don't pay back the loan, then you can't do it. But if no one's gonna know, if no one's gonna find out, then it's fine. God gives you permission not to repay the Gentile. Okay, so there's more of this that I'll share with you, but none of this is allowed in Islam. If a non-Muslim gives you a loan of money, you're not allowed to not repay him. You have to repay him Islamically, and if you don't, you're liable in the eyes of God, and you'll be taken into account by God in the afterlife. A non-Muslim, because you did not repay the loan of a non-Muslim, or you didn't pay the wages of a non-Muslim, you'll be held accountable by God on the day of judgment because you withheld wages from the non-Muslim, from the kafir. Yes. Okay. Yes, this is what Islam teaches, and Muslims know this generally. Muslims go too far in the other direction in this day and age of universalism, and we're all the same, and if you're a non-Muslim and you die, you're gonna go to Jannatul Firdaus as long as I like you because you're a celebrity. Muslims go too far in the side of universalism because of the influence of liberalism. But Jews, at least these Orthodox conservative Jews, they go the other direction, provincialism, because that's what their religion teaches. Their religion teaches in-group, nepotism, in-group, preference, to the degree of, yeah, you're literally stealing from the out-group. And it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly justified. That's the difference. That's the difference. So, let me get this back.
A kosher collision, another example of Lakewood's infamously terrible driving.
We were just showing how densely trafficked it is out here, how much traffic there is. We wanted to show some of the driving differences out here.
I don't think you're saying a fair statement. This has nothing to do with dense driving.
Oh, what does it have to do with bad driving skills or snow?
It was totally because of the snow.
Fair.
That was a miscommunication.
That's fair.
I understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
That's not what happened. There were actually no one on the road.
Totally fair, okay. You need help getting pushed? All right, all right.
Well, why are you making up a story? Because you need a documentary. There was not one car in sight by that accident.
Oh, you just hit the wall.
That's it.
You didn't hit anyone?
No.
Do you need help getting pushed? Okay, we're gonna get out of here. Oh, you're good. Different than anyone else.
You need a job.
I agree.
You need a job?
No, I mean, I'm employed. I employ a lot of people, actually.
Yeah, you make money for doing nothing.
For doing nothing? Do you think moving capital and charging interest is something more valuable than I do, or what?
What? I think you should write about
Tell me.
the hundreds of thousands of people that do favors for people every day.
Tell me more.
Open up a book. You never saw so many charity organizations as you have here in Lakewood.
I know there's so many 501c3s, it makes me wonder. Are they all charitable? Are they fiending for tax exemptions?
100%.
You know, would you say this is a great place to move to for a young family? If I have a kid or a wife, a young wife? Okay. Not just the Jews.
My best friends are going.
Okay, respect. What do we have here? We have a... Hey, it's good to meet you.
You see that?
I saw it. What is the name of that organization once again? Hatzola. Okay, good to meet you, man. See you later. And we have Hatzola up here to help the community. Yeah, this guy doesn't even know what the First Amendment is.
We're busy with the knife.
Don't be a joker, bro. Come on. Yeah. Yes. Come over here. Come over here. All right, I need to get you like a second number. Son. What's your Instagram? You got Facebook?
No, I don't.
Look at these hundreds. My phone number's been leaked.
You're a little child. Give me a number. I promise you.
Why are you insulting?
I'm not insulting.
You just insulted.
Come on, I'm a little child.
So give me a number. I promise you I'll make it worth it for you.
All right, look, give me your email. Give me your email. Give me your email.
732. Give you my number.
All right, hold on. And what was your first name?
Moshe.
We're gonna do some big stuff.
You're afraid, I think.
I don't even know what's going on. Oh man, these guys are next level. I feel like I got dropped off on an alien planet.
And you might be wondering, what is Hatzola and how are they able to blast through red lights like that?
It's like a community watch, but they think they are cops. If you noticed, they had their lights on and they just ran a red light, just like a police officer would do. No uniform. They had the Jewish uniform on, white pants and the curls.
A Jew in a police car is what it looked like, but he's not a police officer, and he's blasting through the lights like he is a cop. There's a Hatzola billboard right there, Mike. And what is that for?
I mean, you're asking me questions. I don't know if I have the answers to why. Because, once again, because there's competing Hatzola. You have competing groups of these.
Of a non-profit volunteer emergency service?
Yes. It sounds like a business, right?
But literally every organization out here is a tax-exempt 501c3. If you dig through the filing, go on ProPublica.com, you'll be surprised to realize everything basically is a tax-exempt 501c3.
Yes, because it's all through the religions.
What are your concerns? Why are we interviewing you?
So, I think I echo the concerns of many non-religious people in my area. And the biggest concern is how one group of people gets to act that is separate, segregated from everybody else.
And that group being Jews.
Yes, Jews, exactly, yeah, 100%. But you know what, it's in my area, it's Jews. In other areas, like you obviously see the Somalian, right? In Minnesota, there's things that are happening all over the area. But yes, in my particular area, it is Jews. And it's Jews that are expanding their territory.
Okay, so my name is Jenna Galarza. I've lived in Jackson for approximately 23 years. I want to say it really started affecting me when I had my children. I have twins, they're 20 now. In assimilation perspective, you want to be able to teach your children how to talk to other children and, you know, be part of other cultures. And that was when it really started hitting me.
What hit you?
You know, let's say if I would go to a store which was closer to Lakewood, you know, I'm pushing a double stroller, I have twins, and I noticed that nobody would hold the door open for you. At one point, a door literally got slammed on my twin stroller, and I was just like, whoa.
Jewish community using residential homes.
So let's read this comment here. Mr. Haqiqatjou, they say freedom of religion. Everybody, they gave them right to practice except the Muslims. He's standing in your way. They persecute, hate against you. Is that referring to Jews, or I don't know who's that referring to? Are they Jews are standing against the hate, or they're the ones who are persecuting? So it's kind of ambiguous. I'm not understanding the comment. But the point about, so what this lady is talking about is assimilation. Okay, they're not assimilating into our culture, into our way of life. That's interesting, right? Like, and as Muslims, can we really blame them for that? Because Muslims have the same issue. What Muslims understand is that if we move to the West, or were born in the West as a second generation like me, and I have children, to what extent are those children going to be Muslim in the future? To what extent can I hope that my children or grandchildren or great-grandchildren are going to be Muslim, or going to have my culture, are going to have my beliefs, going to have my values? If I assimilate, you know, 10% or 20% or 50%, the next generation is probably going to assimilate another 50% or 40% or more. By the time it gets to my grandkids, they're not going to have any Islam. They're not going to have any kind of attachment to the language that I speak, the way that I act and behave and worship, and all of those things are going to be gone by the third generation, if not sooner. And that's through the process of assimilation. And so it's not just Muslims who have this concern. Clearly, Jews have this concern. Clearly, other, like the Amish, have this concern, and they come up with their own solutions. Like each group tries to come up with its own solution. The Amish have like maybe like a more isolationist type of solution. Jews are trying to create isolationism within the midst of these major metropolises like New York City or New Jersey, like highly densely populated places. And then they're trying to carve out this enclave for themselves where they can raise their kids, where they can have a future Jewish community, where their grandchildren are going to be Jewish. They're going to have these beliefs. And it just happens to be the case that the Talmud gives them a lot of leeway to bend or break the rules and against non-Jews and not really feel bad about it. Not really feel like they're doing anything wrong. But that point aside, the instinct to want to preserve your group, that is universal. And it's not something that's just Jewish. And even like these white nationalists who are talking about, oh, you know, our nations would be saved if we just didn't have these brown people and these Jews. If we didn't have the brown people and these Jews, our culture would be saved. We'd be able to preserve our heritage. Like, are you for real? Like, this process of assimilation, it affects like every community, every demographic. Okay, what are the white people assimilating to? You're assimilating to this kind of increasingly liberal, increasingly progressive hegemon of liberal equality. Okay, that's being imposed. That is dominating. Okay, do you think that you, as a white person, as a white nationalist living in 2026, is anywhere similar in terms of culture and values and practices and beliefs with your grandfather or your great-grandfather? Sure, there's going to be some common threads, but in terms of how you practice, okay? White America was deeply religious 2 or 3 generations ago. How about you? Like, how religious are you? Look at, they were married, like they were practicing marriage. They were practicing very conservative cultural values. They didn't accept a lot of, like your grandfather would not tolerate a lot of the things that you tolerate in terms of sexual practices, in terms of gender roles, in terms of just organizing your life in a secular way. The structure of your family. Like, these are major changes that has affected whites, and whites are just assimilating to that status quo, assimilating to that progression, that liberal progression. As things become more and more atomistic, become more and more liberal, whites are assimilating. As whites aren't protecting, like, okay, fine, you want to protect yourself against the Browns and the Jews and the Somalis. Can you protect yourself against liberalism? Can you protect yourself against that hegemony? No, you clearly can't. You clearly can't, because when I look at whites, they're extremely liberal. They're leading the charge of liberalism. And their attacks against Jews and Muslims and other minority groups is on the basis oftentimes of liberalism. Sometimes it's on the basis of nationalism and populism and race. Other times it's based on liberalism. Like, oh, you put your women in a scarf, in a veil, you hide your women, that's so backwards, assimilate to our culture. Well, actually, if I go back 3 generations, or I look at, these video recordings of Great Britain or London 100 years ago, all the women are wearing a veil. All the women are covering their head, their hair, and some of them are covering their face. These are white Britons 100 years ago. So it looks like you assimilated. It looks like you assimilated to a feminist, liberal monoculture, and you're using that to attack Muslims or Jews or whoever. So, like, let's be fair. Okay, let's be fair to the Jews. Okay, there is a concern that they have, a legitimate concern. Like, do I want my people to survive? Do I want my religion to survive? And this is a concern that every community has.
As places of worship, often without approval from the Jackson Planning Board, bringing in tons of outside traffic and destroying the peaceful quality of the neighborhood.
We can have if you work in an office and there's 10 Jewish men there, you can just take a conference room for 10 minutes. We don't need like a formal like church. I've prayed in parking lots with, we're going somewhere and there's get other guys together. And,
but if you're living in a residential neighborhood and this house becomes like a revolving door of people coming in and praying constantly, parking their cars, I imagine there's some quality of life concerns, right? Increase in traffic and the streets being covered with cars and people all over the place, or what?
I don't think that that's what really happened, but maybe on like the Sabbath. But you'll have any Semites will probably say that because they don't like us, they don't want us.
This home used to be probably about 1,100 square feet. It does have a new owner.
Okay.
Apparently, they did get permits to expand on their house. Most of the permits are just, kind of just given. Nothing is really followed through.
Okay.
This home will be being used for a full-out temple.
Temple?
Yeah. Well, that means that they're going to be praying in this home several times a day, probably staying over on Friday nights until Saturdays. As you could see, there's no parking lot here. This is going to affect every person that lives here. And the other problem that I have with this, and that I think should be looked into, is there's definitely funding going to these places.
If I was a concerned neighbor and I said, hey, they're building a temple, what the hell? What might happen next?
You would probably be called an anti-Semite. They will make your life miserable. Nobody wants to live across the street to a synagogue. It is a tactic of getting people to sell their homes, and they will have buyers for them.
And you see this, and then you watch buildings get built before they're approved. They build and ask permission later, and then if they even don't get permission, they sue and they win for permission. So when you have all these things where they're creating hatred,
sounds like the West Bank. Is like, I thought the West Bank was in the Middle East. Looks like the West Bank is in Lakewood, New Jersey.
Create the double standard. They create the animosity between two groups. And when I say they, I mean governments and people that buy off politicians to make favorable laws, because a lot of the shit they do is legal because they bought the politicians to make it legal.
Do you think residents in Jackson who do not want Jackson to be majority Jewish or to look, feel, and sound like Lakewood, do you think that is anti-Semitic?
Well, people have a right to freedom of speech and freedom of their opinion, even if they're going to be bigoted.
Do you think that's bigoted, though,
No,
right? Because I imagine you don't want this place to be Islamic.
Only because the radical Islamists want to kill us. Other than that, I have no problem.
And they're radical.
Okay. Okay. So there you have it. There you have it. You know, they have to attack Muslims, and then they cry about bigotry and anti-Semitism. The Muslims want to kill us, he says. He says, okay, they can't help themselves. They can't help themselves. So just because he said that, I'm going to share more from the Talmud. Okay? Just because I was trying to be nice. Trying to just talk about, you know, what about killing the Goyim? Okay? What does the Talmud say about killing the non-Jews? We need to learn about this. Okay. So the most authoritative Jewish legal text is the Mishnah Torah, which I mentioned, by Maimonides, and the Shulchan Aruch by Joseph Caro. Here they are for you to see. So this passage by the Mishnah Torah is very relevant, given what this very powerful Jewish millionaire had to say about Muslims. Quote, if by contrast the Jewish male enters into relations with a Gentile woman, when he does so intentionally, she should be executed. Oh, wow. She is executed because she caused a Jew to be involved in an unseemly transgression, as is the law with regard to an animal. Okay, so a Jewish male has relations with a Gentile woman, she gets executed. She gets executed. That's the law of bestiality. Okay? If a Jewish man has bestial relations, the animal is killed. The animal is killed. That's what the halacha, that's the Jewish law. And because the non-Jews are akin to animals, the Gentile woman has to be executed. This applies regardless of whether the Gentile woman was a minor of 3 years of age or an adult, whether she was single or married, and it applies even if the Jew was a minor of 9 years old, she is executed. So 3 years, 9 years. Okay, the punishment is explicitly mentioned in the Torah. Okay, so this is practiced. You know, this kind of behavior. Israelis shout, "We will are them," at hearing on detention camp for Palestinians. Okay, so this is the Jewish law when it comes to Jewish treatment of non-Jews. It's not just limited to stealing, not paying back loans, not paying out wages to the non-Jews. It extends to murder, and it extends to rape. Based on the Talmud, kill the best of Gentiles, smash the head of the best of snakes. Okay, Kiddushin 4:11. This is the standard. This is the default. Okay. What else? There is no punishment in Jewish religious texts for killing non-Jews. According to rabbis, it may be sinful, but there's no criminal punishment for Jews who do it. The Talmud says, with regard to bloodshed, if a Gentile murders another Gentile or a Gentile murders a Jew, he is liable. If a Jew murders a Gentile, he is exempt. Okay, very clear. This is very clear. Sanhedrin 57a. If you don't believe me, Google Sanhedrin 57a. Go to Sefaria. Sefaria is the authoritative Jewish religious text site with translation. Read Sanhedrin 57a. See what it says. See what it says. If you think I'm taking things out of context or I'm mistranslating, go directly to the source. The Mishnah Torah. If a person kills either a Jew or a Canaanite servant, he should be executed. If he kills inadvertently, he should be exiled. At first, the person who killed a resident alien should not be executed by the court, as implied by Exodus, which introduces the laws regarding the punishment for murder by stating when a man acts intentionally against his colleague, killing him. Needless to say, this ruling applies with regard to a Gentile. Needless to say. So he's not executed, he's excused if you kill a Gentile. Okay, and there's so many examples in Palestine, what the Israelis are doing to the Palestinians. Israeli settlers at a wedding party cheer the burning of a Palestinian baby. Okay, they're slaughtering Palestinian women, children, innocent men. And that's a mitzvah. This is what their religion commands them to do. And if they do it, Like, even this is outside of a war context. This is outside of a war context. You can do it. At most, it's a sin. At most, it's a sin. But when it comes to the Israeli settlers, they don't even view it as a sin. Okay, so I just want to, like, because he, this Jewish gentleman, he didn't qualify his statement, right? He didn't qualify. Let's replay it. He didn't say some Muslims, right? He said all, or he made an unqualified statement about Muslims. So at least I'll say, like, not all Jews believe in the Talmud, okay? Not all Jews believe that you can kill the non-Jews and it's no problem. Like, there's no punishment for that. Not all Jews believe that. It's only some of them. It's only some, maybe a majority, but a lot of them. But not all. Not all. Like, keep that in mind. I want to be very clear. Does he make that kind of qualification about Muslims? Wanting to kill everyone? Let's listen again.
Because I imagine you don't want this place to be Islamic.
Only because the radical Islamists want to kill us. Other than that, I have no problem.
And they're radical Jews and they're radical Christians, right?
Which Orthodox Jews are radical Jews that want to hurt people?
Many people could argue there are distinct sects of Judaism that are marginalized.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, you wouldn't want Lakewood to become predominantly Muslim. Radicalism aside, though, right?
Right.
Just like Jackson residents don't want it to be predominantly Jewish.
So if a Muslim wants to buy a house here and pay way more than what the house would sell outside of our community because of the fact that the prices go up and we come in, they're free to do it. And now,
yeah, but I just don't think it's bigoted for you to not want it to be predominantly Muslim. Why would you? You're Jewish.
So Jackson Strong is kind of like a unofficial organization that I had started. When I saw everything turning, I just was very vocal on social media, and I decided to organize. Certain people really wanted to get involved. There were a few of us that, we would have letter writing campaigns, making a lot of calls to county officials, local officials, and state officials, trying to find out what ordinances could be created, what we could do to help prevent a full-out turnover. A sign would say, Jackson Strong, don't sell, meaning if a new neighbor moves in next to you, don't run, don't sell. Why would you move? Stay strong, right?
Would they sell?
They would sell because it just got too much. And anytime you would say anything about it, you were anti-Semitic. I mean, there were Facebook pages created just to slander me. They would manipulate pictures of me. They would put, Russian hats on me, a Hitler mustache. These were things that were even coming out of Israel. At one point, there was a post where, somebody had said that, she needs to have an ice pick in her eye, and something like that. I did go to the prosecutor's office, and my Jackson Strong page was taken down for no good reason at all. It was just taken down. There was a page, Rise Up Ocean County, which was a pretty important part of everything that was happening. That page was taken down also. However, it was hijacked. So when our page was taken down, just for stating the facts, when you're bringing out the Kaporis incidents, when they're cutting the necks of the chickens and blood is pouring through the streets, and then you're talking about that and you're posting videos, and all of a sudden your Facebook page gets taken down, only to be replaced with a complete anti-Goyim harassment page. And you could report that page over and over, and you could have a campaign of people reporting that page. Yet that page remained up.
Do you want Lakewood to be predominantly Muslim? Just you personally?
No.
And why?
Because it's a...
Say they don't want to kill you.
I'm fine with people moving in, but to have Jewish schools, we have to have a critical mass of Jews here to support Jewish schools. To have kosher grocery stores, supermarkets, we have to have a critical mass of Orthodox Jews here to support kosher supermarkets. By the way.
So using that logic, why would anyone in Jackson want Jackson to have more and more Jews move? If you're arguing there needs to be a critical mass for...
How are we infringing on their right, on their ability to do whatever they want?
I'm not saying you are, but why would they want that? Why would it be bigoted?
They don't have to want or not want. If somebody's selling their house to an Orthodox Jew, the Orthodox Jew is allowed to buy the house.
Sure, but I'm talking about the people who are not selling their houses to Orthodox Jews.
Then they have the right to do that.
Of course, but that doesn't make them a bigot to not want it. It doesn't mean they're hateful. It doesn't mean they hate you.
What is it of their lifestyle that we're going to change?
All right, so we could start with the traffic. Infrastructure.
So he says that he doesn't want Muslims to move in, but this is the double standard he has. It's just shocking that they agreed to do this kind of interview. It means that he's completely delusional to talk like this. People are saying, yeah, this is the same in the West Bank. The thing about, like, okay, fine. A lot of communities want to create neighborhoods, an environment where they are able to preserve their culture, have their schools, have their food. It might be kosher, it might be halal food, it might be whatever, restaurants, to live in that kind of environment. You have a lot of communities that want that. But there's like other communities are constrained by certain rules, by certain like lines that they don't cross. Like certain principles of like honor, or principles of like don't cheat, like don't lie, don't collude, like don't act in an unfair way. Like people don't have the same kind of chutzpah that a certain other community has, and they don't have the religious license that a certain other community has to violate these rules, to violate principles of honor or fairness or propriety. Like it's just a lack of chutzpah. And if you what it sounds like in these interviews that Tyler is doing, like they're actually proud of it. They view it as they're just smarter. They're smarter than the cattle. They're able to game the system. That just means that they're smarter, that they're more resourceful than the cattle, than the goy cattle who are getting fleeced. That's the perspective. Like it's not a perspective of shame. It's not a perspective of, wow, we really shouldn't be doing this. It's a perspective of, how dare you? How dare you question us? We're the victims. It's gonna be another Holly. Like that's their attitude. So obviously people are gonna be outraged. Like obviously people are gonna get extremely upset, and that's what he's interviewing these non-Jewish residents, and you can tell the amount of resentment that they had. And as they state, like, we're not anti-Semites. We were never anti-Semites, but it was just a certain behavior. A certain behavior might have changed our minds about certain things. So this is the danger, like, of one particular group. And it's coming from the religion. It's literally coming from the Talmud.
Wise, they're just throwing up these ginormous structures. They tend to have basement apartments also, so they'll rent those out. Right now, there is probably upwards 2,000 to 3,000 homes that have been bought and are just being rented out right now by the Orthodox community, that they will move in when they're ready to move into them. There's been a problem with light pollution. Now we're seeing just LED lights everywhere. You know, there's a lot of issues. And then let's just talk about the thing that breaks my heart more than anything, which is the school system. So what's happening is our Board of Education is going bankrupt. Between the formula in the state giving all of the money to the poorer communities, which has been proven to not work. We're losing that kind of funding, but we're being depleted from the busing. We are required by state law to provide busing to all of the private school students. Why are we paying for busing for schools that are not teaching a standard curriculum? If 80% or 90% of their curriculum is religious studies, why are the taxpayers paying for that busing? And then to add insult to injury, we have recently sold 2 of our schools, and they have been bought by the Orthodox community.
Who are you, Chris?
I am a councilman in Jackson, New Jersey.
And what are we in front of right now?
We're in front of the former Sylvia Rosenauer School. The school was unfortunately shut down due to budget issues in Jackson. It was purchased by a private school.
Okay, so this is a private Jewish-only school right now?
Yes. As the state cuts our funding, we continue spending more and more public money on private schools, and it's kind of creating the perfect storm that's destroying our public education system.
So all of the school systems are completely strained by the influence of the Jewish non-students. They don't even use the public school system, but yet it costs the public school system a lot of money.
We Orthodox Jews, we pay the full school taxes to support the public schools and for busing. And the only thing that we get to use is busing.
You take Jackson Township, their pass-through budget was nothing in like 2017. What pass-through laws are, they're federal state laws where it says that the school system has to pay for the busing of private school students. The more people that moved into Jackson, they go to school in Lakewood. So no, Jackson has to bus their kids to Lakewood. Now they don't bus non-Jewish students. They have segregated busing. So you have girls bus, boys bus. It costs the towns millions and millions of dollars, while at the same time, it decreases the enrollment that they have. So when the enrollment decreased, couple that with a really shit school funding formula in New Jersey, the town spent...
Imagine if they had that. Like, imagine if Muslim schools, like, You're using the school, like the ISD, the Independent School District bus system, but you insist that it be segregated. Not only by gender, by religion. Like the Muslims can't sit with the non-Muslims and it's just boys and girls. Like imagine the firestorm. Imagine the outrage. Imagine like... But this is like an established system in New Jersey, like one of the most populated states. And we're just hearing about it through a YouTuber, a goy-tuber, as he said. Like there's no visibility in any of this. Forget about accountability. Can we get visibility? Like, can we get visibility on what this particular community gets in terms of privileges that aren't afforded to other religions? Okay, other Middle Eastern religions. Like Muslims are also Middle Eastern in terms of the religion of Islam. It's coming from that part of the world. We don't get 1% of this. But yeah, so like this is the first time I'm watching this documentary, as I mentioned, so this is surprising for me.
Spend way more money and they get way less in return.
And now, in a modern day and time, who thinks it's okay to separate boys and girls, not allowing them to be together, not allowing them to go to school together, be on the same bus, and because of a religious practice, you're forcing the public to pay extra money for things like that?
We have to send our children to religious schools because of the values that are taught in the secular schools. If there are population changes, schools consolidate. We're not the first place that's happened, nor the last place.
The Jewish community is extremely racist. Could you imagine if I said that my children could not play with somebody's children because they were black? What a different conversation we would be having. Why is it okay?
We only eat kosher food. If our kids play in a non-religious Jew's home, they might be given non-kosher food to eat. Also, we generally don't have televisions in our home and don't want to bring the secular values of homosexuality, of adultery, theft, of cursing, and go on and on. We don't want to bring this into our society. The Orthodox Jews are paying full property tax, which is how the schools are funded, and we don't get the benefit of the school building, the school teachers. So we have to also pay for our private education. So they're getting our money and we're getting nothing for it.
Your funding is going to go down. You're going to have to make cuts. You're going to have to keep closing schools. They just shut down another big school, which is going to be converted into, it might be one of the world's largest yeshivas right here in town. Let's be real. New Jersey State is essentially a criminal organization because everything they do is for some type of special interest, for somebody to benefit somehow.
They take a house, they get that house built for a public mikveh only for Jewish people, right? So they say it's for the public, but it's not. It's just for a select private group of people. The house is now a 501c religious organization, so it doesn't pay taxes, so the town loses the tax money. Yep. And then, like in this case, that mikveh was being built before it was even approved, so everyone sees that.
This is going to be a mikvah, which is a religious bathhouse.
Where women get purified.
Correct.
After their periods?
Yes, and it prepares them for their childbearing time.
Sex.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's little things like this when they get in an area, they put what they need, their special needs. It doesn't benefit the community, anything that they put. It benefits only them.
So this is a house of worship, a shul. This has been...
Now, where's Matt Walsh in all of this? Where is Matt Walsh? He's the crusader for assimilation and American values. Where's Matt Walsh? Matt Walsh has a lot to say about Muslims in Michigan and Dearborn, but don't see him covering any of these Jewish cities, these Jewish taken over cities. Where's Matt Walsh? Can he get permission from the boss to cover this? I think it'd be interesting.
Been operating now probably for about 6 or 7 years. This is one of the ones that we first realized was non-owner occupied. Now, meaning that you have a better chance of not having issues if you live in the home and you have prayer. But you know, nobody was living in this home. You know, generally you should have to get the proper permits and everything, but you know, our town has been very accommodating for bad behavior. As you could see, they did install a light for them here, so they could safely pull in and out and cross the street.
And that's a symptom of the increased traffic into this location, right? A light just for this house.
Correct. Just for this is zone residential.
As I told you, we have to be together for schools, for synagogues, for kosher food. So you're gonna start buying the next block over. That happens to be Jackson and Tom's River. Now it's going into Howell because you know we're having lots of children, and thank God we're having lots of children. Thank God almost all of them stay religious, get married early, and they're having children, and the community is just growing and growing. So in Jackson, they passed regulations against Orthodox Jews, and not only that, they were harassing us. Let me give you an example. We pray 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening. So Jackson, they were very unprofessional, very amateurish. So they had their code enforcement department counting the number of Jews on the street, and they left the emails on their Jackson Township email system. So when litigation ensued, it came out in discovery. So they say, I see 3 men wearing the garb, carrying Bibles, going into this house. And the inspectors would actually go onto the property and peer into the window to see if we were praying.
Okay, so the house was zoned residentially, and it is being used as a house of worship?
No, but you could just go in there. The guy owns the house. You can just go in there and pray. We do it all the time. Just like, you know, when I have the Super Bowl here, I have 50 people here.
In contrast to the Super Bowl, how often does this congregation happen per year? Is it every week?
Oh no, we pray 3 times a day. Now,
3 times a day versus once a year, though, right? That's an important distinction.
Oh, but I'm saying, but every week they get during football season, get people over watching football, and they get 30 people in the house watching football, right? Anybody in America can do that, and they're not cited for a violation.
You don't think they would have been treated the same if it were a mosque or a church?
There are Christian groups, and they were not harassed like we were.
So you guys were singled out, in your opinion?
Yeah, oh, for sure.
What happened in Jackson? What anti-Semitic laws is he referring to in his opinion?
So it's everybody is reacting in their own way, zoning law-wise, to try to fight what they do. And what that is like buying corner lots that are unbuildable, using the RLUPA laws to build on them. So what happened was there was a little bit of a rush to stop Lakewood. I would say about 2010-ish, where you saw different towns making different zoning laws. Brick did its own little thing, tightened up zoning laws in certain areas, and they did it in a way where it wasn't pointing out one religion. Jackson kind of did it in a way where they did point out one religion, but
what does that mean?
So it's like they tried stopping the shoals in the middle of the houses, but what they did was they worded it and they said things as they were doing. Like the people on the boards were saying stupid shit during the discussion that were anti-Semitic, basically to give them fuel to come in and say, you guys are making anti-Semitic laws, okay? It wasn't necessarily what they were trying to do, it was how they were trying to do it. Now the council president up there, Mordecai Bernstein, who was a part of it, you have that guy, Richie Roberts. They got the DOJ to do an investigation. They sued under RLUPA, and they had the DOJ do an investigation into him. They hammered Jackson. So now it's like Jackson is castrated and cannot even fight it anymore because they got told by the federal government and the state government they get to do whatever the hell they want. So now that's why you're seeing the synagogues going up in single family or multiple family, big houses, $800,000, $900,000 houses. We lost a lawsuit on this property that was too small of a property, unbuildable lot. The people that came out to that meeting made this type of comment. This was deemed anti-Semitic. This is a family neighborhood. We like to keep it a family neighborhood, anti-Semitic. This is what the judge, quote, cited as anti-Semitic. Are you going to be renting this house or are you going to be living in it? Anti-Semitic. What type of family would want to live on this type of lot? Anti-Semitic. That's how petty it gets.
Beginning 10 years ago,
So they're bringing in the DOJ. That's the level of pull that they have, is that this is like a local zoning issue and the federal government is getting involved. Do you know how crazy that is? Do you know how much pull you have to settle a zoning dispute like in your local middle of nowhere hick USA? You're settling a zoning dispute with the DOJ coming in to make sure that the court rules in your favor? That's insane. Like, that is insane level of power. And yeah, but if you notice it, that's anti-Semitic.
They called you an anti-Semite for outlining all of these points. Were you wrong?
I was right. There are plenty of county roads in Jackson. Nobody's saying that you cannot put your house of worship on those county roads, where you could put a proper parking lot and you could have proper traffic. So why are we dealing with houses of worship within walking distance that could be on main roads? Air roofs are up. Why instead are we putting them smack in the middle of residential areas? Because it's another way to get people out of there. It's another way to create a complete religious enclave.
And this all begs the question, does the Jewish community living in peace come at a direct cost of the non-Jews also trying to live in peace? Can the two groups get along? I toured a mostly all-Jew neighborhood in Lakewood to understand Jennifer's frustration a bit more and what she sees as Jackson's seemingly unavoidable future.
Where are we at, Jenna?
We are in Westgate, aka Kosher West, aka the Little Tykes Graveyard.
I'm noticing lots of toys on the lawn, car seat that may not be getting used, tons of minivans, many children, many families, full trash cans, abandoned vehicles, a lot going on here.
Correct. This is on the border of Jackson. And unfortunately, I see this as being Jackson's future if we don't get a hold of things.
Let's go for a walk. How large are the families out here?
Again, you know, anywhere from 6 to 12 children.
This is all Orthodox Jews for the most part?
This is predominantly probably 99.9% religious.
Could I buy a home here?
I don't believe you could.
Obviously, legally, according to the Fair Housing Act, it's illegal for them to discriminate against me, but practically speaking, could I buy a home?
No.
Okay.
This community is allowed to police themselves. You know, they're allowed to do what they want to do. Rules don't apply. Yeah, the trash cans. We have a problem now in Jackson with rats, which we've never had before. It's definitely a concern. It's a complete religious enclave, yes.
Sure. And this bus right here is paid for by a Lakewood taxpayer, correct?
Correct.
We're walking. We're trying to walk. You got to... Yes. Call the cops.
Here, it's strictly about religion, nothing else. All these men going to yeshiva until they're 35 years old, they're not producing college students. They're not producing people that are going to go and benefit the greater good of our society.
It's sort of an investment in a insulated, one-way economy.
Correct, without anybody contributing.
How are you? Oh, we're filming a little documentary. Yeah, for YouTube. Would you like to say hi?
I actually recognize your face.
I'm infamous. That's me. Yes. It's good to meet you. How are you?
I actually can't shake hands.
I see.
I'm sorry.
No worries. It's good to meet you. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just walking around talking.
Cool. Well, I hope it's interesting.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Also, like, not everybody's the same. Yeah.
This is true. I'm noticing a strong spectrum here of even orthodoxy, right?
Yeah. Even within the orthodox.
So I got to say, very refreshing. Sweet woman.
Yeah.
Said hi. Good luck.
You know, that's the funny thing.
Nice.
That's the funny thing about it. I mean, a lot of the women are very nice and very welcoming.
Yeah.
And you know, you can have a conversation with them, but at the end of the day, they can't be your friend.
No parking. Look at that.
They don't want to live amongst us. They don't want to live with us. They just want to live and exist and not have us be part of their lives. I mean, we've had people stand up at our council meeting in Jackson and say, I'm sorry, we cannot let our children play with your children.
For the Orthodox community, the reason that we choose sometimes to live with ourselves is because we are, as a culture, very careful with the influences our children have. My children don't know about, they don't have any access to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, any of these things. And part of that safety is that after school, all of us as neighbors share those same values and rules and restrictions.
It's about unity. It's about assimilation. It's about, you know, the American culture, and that's what we're losing.
Can the Jews and the Gentiles get along?
Absolutely. We don't have.
You're calling for unity.
Absolutely. I also understand that this is their way of thinking. This is how they are trained. This is how they were brought up.
We're happy for them to stay. We don't push them out. We had a neighbor Wheeler right across the street over one house. We were sorry to see them go. Is it bad that you have a house that's worth $300,000 and someone says, I really want to live in this neighborhood, I'll give you $600,000 for it?
I think it's great if you're trying to sell your house.
Okay, and if he doesn't have to. Like this woman, she didn't have to sell her house.
Yeah, I think there's an argument in some instances of people who have claimed that they've been pressured, harassed, or intimidated to sell their house.
So it's not intimidation. It only could be that too many people are knocking on their door asking, do you want to sell your house?
Okay, so well, there's blockbusting.
Okay.
You know, that's when they approach you to sell your house, which is a level of harassment. There's intimidation, telling you that, you know, your decorations are not Yiddish, or approaching you and asking you, when are you moving? You know, you could have a child who's 4 or 5 years old, being your neighbor, and you could be very nice to that child, and one day they will just come out and say to you, when are you leaving? Well, that's learned behavior. They're hearing that, right?
There's rows of housing.
So these enclaves that they're able to create with the help of the federal government, look at an analogous case. This is recently, over the past 1.5 years or 2 years, in Texas. Okay, Yasser Qadi's community in Dallas. Okay, they've been trying to create like a community for Muslims, abiding by all the laws, abiding by fair housing, everything, but it's like going to cater to Muslims, everything above board. And the state government, okay, the governor's office of the state of Texas has come down hard, trying to create all kinds of legal problems, legal obstacles for them not to be able to open this kind of Muslim community. Even though they're not like moving into an already established community, they bought land, undeveloped land, they're developing it. They're going to build everything on it, the housing, everything. But the state of Texas is trying to prevent that, is trying to block that. Okay, look at the contrast. Okay, and obviously I don't agree with Yasser Qadi's certain of his beliefs, his reformist beliefs, but like it's crazy that his project, this kind of Muslim community project, is being shut down at the state level, whereas when it comes to this other community, sorry, this might be some connection problem. This Dallas community, a lot of them are Zionists. A lot of the Zionists are going after the Muslims here. So again, chutzpah, you have to have chutzpah to make it in the United States, in the Jew-United States of America.
You saw it yesterday. 4, 5, 6 cars per place. Tight, super tight houses.
The few people that I've spoken to, a lot of it stems from fear and their loss of their way of life, right? I don't think it stems from hatred, from what I've heard.
So some hated and some feared a change in their in their neighborhood. These people are moving in that don't look like them, that, you know, seem different, and I can understand it, but there are laws about discrimination, and you know, people bought homes legally because the non-Jews that lived there made a lot of money off the Jews in selling the home.
Well, look at, you know, Little Italy, and look at Chinatown and New York, and how come it was okay for them to live amongst themselves? The key there is assimilation. Their children went to public schools. They worked in the public sector. They invited anybody who wanted to come into their community. They provided for them in their community. Huge difference there. This is not a welcoming community. This is not somebody who's saying, we're gonna build this shul, come on in. We wanna teach you a little bit about our religion and our beliefs, but we wanna involve you in it. And this has been a topic that I have brought up at several council meetings when there have been times when there's been a project or something that they wanted to approve, and we were trying to kind of, you know, bring it to people's attention that this project is not going to benefit the community as a greater good. The Jewish community is extremely racist, and I would go as far to say as the Jackson government should be ashamed of themselves.
Beautiful traffic and under here. What?
Welcome. Welcome.
Was that a strategic honk?
I think so.
I'm not sure what the strategy there was. Who's he honking at now? Gotta say hi. Hello. All right, so you're just honking. I'm not sure what the strategy is. How are you? I came down and waved and said hi. We're gonna see how long he's just gonna remain honking. How are you doing? He's gonna break his horn. This guy does have a cheeky sense of humor, which I can appreciate. That honk was promised to him. Zoom in on his face. I think I'm gonna sue. His kids in there is doing that? What? Man, I think this guy actually might be mentally challenged, so we're gonna give him a break. So listen, we can talk all the niceties we want. There is hostility.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? That's not going to happen walking down our streets.
But as we were trying to escape and rest our ears from the Jews honking at us from all directions, I spotted these dudes tracking us. Turns out I had summoned the Shamrim Police, the Jewish community's internal police force that receives both federal funding and township funding.
You just want to be interviewed?
No.
Okay, respect. Are we in the heart of Lakewood right now?
What do you know for?
Just curious. All right, he's pushing it. What's up? You want to do an interview? Okay.
So they have their own like ambulance. They have their like ambulance fleets. They have their own police force. They have their own school system. All is being publicly funded, but it's just dedicated to them and according to their religious requirements. It's amazing. Like, it's amazing that they're able to do all this for so long, for decades. Yeah, I mean, and yet we're told like this is like anti-Semitism is off the charts, and this is the most oppressed group. This is the most victimized group, and anti-Semitism is the highest levels ever. Like, if I, like as a Muslim, had even 5% of these types of services, these types of privileges, I would like live with some mean comments from people like against Islam or against Muslims. Like, I think I would tolerate that. I'm like, okay, you know, you don't like it, but look, I'm enjoying all these privileges in America at your from your paycheck, from your tax dollars. I'm enjoying that. So I'll tolerate that you're unhappy and you're going to make some negative comments about me and my religion. Like, I would have enough self-awareness to give that kind of grace. Yeah, be Islamophobic. Be a little bit Islamophobic. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm like, I have a whole school system that's funded by your tax dollars, by your kafir tax dollars are funding my schools, funding my police, the halal police, literally the haram police, literally. You know, we have segregated buses. Yeah, I think I'll tolerate. I think I'll tolerate the Islamophobic comment every now and then. But these people, they won't even tolerate it. They won't allow even an ounce of criticism, even an ounce of scrutiny. No, you make a comment against them, they'll get you debanked. They'll get your social media scrubbed. A little bit of criticism. That's what you call chutzpah. Like, that's what you call this kind of chutzpah that is only found amongst them. So kudos, like, hats off, you know, yarmulke off to that level of dedication, like, to the game. They're not going to give an inch, basically.
I don't think it was nice how you portrayed the Jewish people. And
what are we talking about? What's the context, real quick?
What's the context?
Are we talking about Curious Joel?
Yes. I just don't think it was you were trying to portray. I think you just came into with more of what you had a picture in your head.
What do you think I got wrong? What do you think was misrepresented? Like, I'm just trying to learn. What do you actually think I got wrong about it?
I just think there was agenda.
You gotta elaborate a little bit, though. You know.
What was the front of the YouTube page posted as? What was the
inside the New York town invaded by welfare-addicted Jews?
Thank you. You answered the question.
Was I wrong, though?
I actually think it's not true, but again, you'd say whatever you want. It's not welfare addicted. This is what it is.
Welfare reliance, welfare dependent. What would be a better?
Programs don't have it.
All right. What are you arguing? That I have an obligation as a taxpayer to fund you and how many kids you want to have? If you want to have 30 kids, that's just how it is.
I'm arguing that if the law is set up to have certain criteria for people, and it's according to children, then people who qualify for it, legally qualify for it,
100%.
with no fraud at all, are entitled to get it.
And you'll give me the credit of acknowledging I never said that was fraudulent.
Yes, that's right.
I think it's exploitative by nature, though. Yeah, why don't you throw all your money at them and help sustain their lifestyle? Why do I have to take a cut of my my paycheck to go towards Kiryas Joel's insulated Hasidic Jewish community that has nothing to do with me. I'll never get anything out of. There's zero upside for them to exist for me.
Anyways, we have the government makes criteria for getting financial aid. And if someone qualifies for that criteria, I'm not sure why when the Jew does it, you're calling it exploitive or taking advantage, but you don't say that to all the other people and populaces that don't have it.
Well, I've never seen anything of this scale to where the families are this large and it's sort of baked into their strategy of child raising.
So are you against having children, having a lot of children?
I'm pro-children. That's great. I think you should be able to afford it. And I want to make an important distinction between the Amish, let's say, and the Hasidic Jews in Kiryas Joel. You tell me what's the difference.
Oh, there's tons of difference.
So some of the commenters were mentioning the Amish, like the Amish are doing the same thing. So he's going to distinguish them, I guess.
Tons of differences. Most importantly, as it relates to finance, though, the Amish pay for themselves. They're self-sustaining. They're not reliant on welfare programs funded by the taxpayer.
I think I heard in a video there's, 40,000 people in Kiryas Joel? 44,000. And you spoke to 20 people around on the street.
Sure, perhaps an insufficient sample size, right?
And who obviously are not the ones working, because if they're working, they wouldn't have been on the street, they'd be working.
Sure, but it belies a pretty interesting question, right? How do they afford to raise such large families? How do they afford to study full-time?
First, I have to bifurcate your question. Okay. There's two groups. One is the ones who are learning full-time, and the others are the ones that are working. For Hasidim, almost all of them go out to work. However, when they first get married, for the first 2 or 3 years, they'll learn Torah full-time. The wife will work. They don't have any children yet, or maybe they have 1 kid or 2 children, and then they'll get help from their family. And if their income qualifies, which it probably does, for financial aid, they'll get financial aid.
Okay, we got this guy following us. We're playing games now.
I mean, that's an interesting structure that he elaborated. Like, they will get married, they'll work, the Hasidim, the Hasidic Jews, they'll work, like young men are working. Then they get married, and then they'll study for 2 years. And in that time, either the wife works or the family helps support them financially while the head of the household, the man, is studying. It's very interesting. It just shows that they are very supportive. They're supportive of their children, and they understand that if we want to perpetuate, what do we need to do to perpetuate our community? And, from that angle, you have to compliment them. You have to, tip your hat. You have to say that at least they have the right vision. And I wish we could say the same thing for some of these Muslim communities, unfortunately. Some of the Muslim communities where they're not supportive of their children getting married. They're actually sending their daughters to get educated, advanced degrees, and to be independent boss babes. And the sons want to get married, but they can't get married at that young age. They have to basically be celibate, involuntarily celibate, until they're in their 30s. And even then, it's a challenge. They can ever find someone. And it's expected that you have to be on your 2 feet. If you want to marry my daughter, for example, or you want to marry, if I'm going to support him to get married, he has to have his degree, he has to have this 6-figure salary, he has to have his house, he has to have his car. They set a certain bar of material wealth that you are responsible for acquiring, and only then can you get married. So, this is, and given, maybe that was a reasonable standard when, you could buy, I don't know, a gallon of milk for 50 cents. You could fund your college education with a summer job, with a part-time summer job. My dad's generation, that's what they were. In my dad's generation, you could literally have a part-time summer job and fund your entire college, fully paid with no financial aid. He could, at that time, you could buy a house on 1 year salary. 1 year salary, you could fully pay off a house. If you saved enough of 1 year salary, you could fully buy and pay off a house. It's not possible, okay? That's not possible in this day and age. So these standards that a lot of the boomers have for their children is just completely unreasonable. And you would think that if you have a desire to perpetuate your family, okay? Forget if you care about your community, you care about the ummah, okay, forget about that. Even if you're just purely self-interested, you want to perpetuate your bloodline, your family, and you're not doing that. You're not taking the minimum amount of steps to do that. So I understand the frustration of our youth, of Muslim youth, that they can't get married. They get no support. They get no financial support from other Muslims in their family, their parents. Like, why? Why are you throwing these obstacles? Are you, as a parent, not concerned about the perpetuation of your family? Don't you want grandchildren? Well, why aren't you doing anything to secure that? Honestly, learn something from the way that these other communities behave in America, okay, in America or the West. And let's take a look in the mirror, because it's very frustrating and it's a disaster. Like, it's a disaster, but is it because you don't have that self-interest, or are you just dumb? You're just dumb and you don't understand like what you're doing. So you're doing it to your own children. You're doing it to your own children, and you're doing it to the ummah, the Muslim community. It's just very shocking behavior. And that's why I have no tolerance for the feminists. I have no tolerance for the compassionate imams, because they're not willing to give these hard truths. They're not willing to speak out these hard truths, because it's going to get backlash. You're going to get backlash from ignorant people, dumb, jahil people. And you have to just turn off the noise and say, yeah, I don't care about what the johal say, what the feminists say. I'm just going to speak the truth. There's a problem and it needs a solution. The solution is very clear, but you're not willing to pursue it. Why can other communities pursue this and establish this, institute these practices? The need to perpetuate. They're making the right decisions as far as that's concerned. You can't blame them for that. You can't blame the Jews for that. So this is a big problem that we have. And there needs to be a wake-up call.
Now we got the security van rolling on us as we roll on them. Got 1, 2, 3 police. Surely there's no conflict of interest we're about to experience. I wonder what law they're gonna claim I violated. How you doing? My name's Tyler. How are you?
Josh, man.
Good to meet you, Josh.
What's going on?
I don't know. We're just getting stalked.
Yeah?
Low key, yeah.
You look familiar, man.
My name's Tyler Oliveira. We're filming a little YouTube video. That's me, yeah.
Okay. So what are you filming out here?
Documentary on Lakewood, surrounding towns. Am I being detained? Is there a probable cause for this interaction? What's going on?
We just got a concern saying that you're walking up to people, asking them questions, stuff like that.
Luckily, this is America, and that is the First Amendment, right? It's beautiful, and I get you're doing your
when
job.
They call us, we got to come out here, right? See what you got. Just doing like a documentary?
Exactly, just a little documentary. Right now. Hey, how you guys doing? You guys want to say what's up?
What's up? What's up?
Okay, well, it's good to meet you guys. I know you guys got more important things to do, but
man.
Good to meet you guys. Good to meet you. Thanks for keeping everyone safe. Thank you.
I'm part of Lakewood Trauma, which is public safety.
Yeah.
And we got multiple calls. Same reason why PD got calls.
Okay.
So that's it. We're just gonna follow you around. We're gonna let everybody know that they don't have to talk to you.
With the Shamrim police on our back, it felt like we were being policed by a secondary form of law enforcement that seemed to exclusively defend the interests of the Jewish community. And speaking of double standards, let's talk about politics.
I firmly believe that the tactics within this community, I would liken it to organized crime. We have an ultra-Orthodox person as our council president. You know, you can't think that there's not going to be things happening and rules and laws created to make his community stronger and better.
When do you eventually become involved in Jackson politics, let's say? You live in Lakewood, you don't even live.
So talking about organized crime, this is something that deserves commenting on, because there is a certain law within Judaism that prevents the whistleblowing. Okay, whistleblowing or snitching for a Jew internally to the Jewish community to come out and speak to Tyler, okay, to speak to him, to give him any kind of information that might make the Jewish community look bad, that is known as Masira in Jewish law. And the Jew who does that is a Moser. So when you see throughout this documentary all of these Jews who are avoiding talking to Tyler and they're getting whispered in the ear, it's because they don't want, in a certain sense, they're threatened. They are threatened, and there could be very severe consequences for talking to Tyler in a way that makes Jews look bad. This is the law of Mesira. And so I want to share some text with you on this so you can understand what it is. From the Talmud. Okay. The law against Mesira. Reporting to non-Jew authorities. So if a Jew reports to non-Jew authorities in a way that gets them in trouble, they become a Moser. Okay. So what is the penalty for being a Moser? It's a death penalty. And no due process is needed. The Moser can be killed on the spot. So this is explained in the Talmud. Bava Kama 117a. The Gemara relates another incident. There was a certain man who desired to show another individual straw to the Gentile authorities who would seize it. He came before the rabbi, who said to him, "Do not show it and do not show it," i.e., you are absolutely prohibited from showing it. The man said to him, "I will show it and I will show it. I will certainly show it." So then Rav Kahana was sitting before Rav, and hearing the man's disrespectful response, it's covering it. Hearing the man's disrespectful response, he dislodged the man's neck from him, i.e., he broke his neck and he killed him. Okay, so that's one example. Seeing Kahana's action, Rav read the following verse about him: "Your sons have fainted, they lie at the head of all the streets as an antelope in a net. Just as with regard to this antelope, once it falls into the net, the hunter does not have mercy upon it. So too with regard to the money of a Jew, once it falls into the hands of a Gentile, they do not have mercy upon him," i.e. the Jew. Since Gentiles who seek a Jew's money will kill him in order to seize the property, Rav Kahana acted appropriately when he broke the miscreant's neck as he protected the Jew's property and by extension the Jew himself. So that's the logic of it. If you report, and that's why they're so hostile to Tyler, and they're hostile to anyone who collaborates with Tyler Oliveira. Why? Because they believe that this documentary is going to directly lead to Jewish deaths. Okay? And even if it leads to some kind of money loss or property loss for Jews or lost opportunities, that's equivalent to death. That's equivalent to death by this Talmudic logic, okay, that I just read. So to prevent Jewish death, it is justified, the death penalty is justified. You have to eliminate the Moser. Okay, and then this is the Mishnah Torah from Maimonides. The one who injures a person or property, it is forbidden to turn a Jew over into the hands of a heathen, whether physically or financially, even if he happens to be wicked and sinful, and even if he's the cause of one's distress and pain. Okay, so you can't whistleblow. You can't report to non-Jews, even if the Jew is doing something very wrong. Anyone who hands a Jew over into the hands of a heathen, whether physically or financially, has no share in the world to come. An informer may be slain anywhere. The Moser. Even at the present time, when Jewish courts do not try capital cases, it is permissible to slay him before he has informed. So you don't have to have the Sanhedrin. You don't have to have a Jewish court. You don't have to have due process. Maimonides is saying, without due process, you can slay him. As an individual. Vigilante justice. That's allowed according to the highest authority of Jewish law. Okay? So this is why, people aren't talking to Tyler. They're actually fearful for their lives. And this is why illegal practices can perpetuate. No one's going to whistleblow. No one's going to actually speak out, because that can lead to capital punishment. Your life will be on the line. Here's another passage. As soon as he says that he is about to inform against an individual or his property, even a small amount of money, even a small financial stake, he has surrendered himself to death as an outlaw. He must be warned and told, do not inform. Okay, maybe that's what he was whispering, that one Jew was whispering. Do not inform. If he has acted impudently, replying, not so, I will inform against him, it is a religious duty to slay him. Whoever hastens to kill him attains merit. And there's this academic reference that you can go to if you don't want to take my word for it. Jewish law and the tragedy of sexual abuse of children, the dilemma within the Orthodox Jewish community, the Rutgers Journal of Law and Religion. Academic article by Stephen Reisenkopf. He might be Jewish himself. I don't know. So this is the law of the Moser, the law of against the Masira, whistleblowing. Important to keep in mind.
In Jackson, why do you even get involved?
What happened was this act of discrimination against the Orthodox Jews in Jackson was going on for about a year. And I had people calling me from Jackson with like anonymous numbers, Orthodox Jews, because they were afraid for their safety. We're generally not violent people. If we have to defend ourselves, we will. And I think a substantial number of people in Lakewood now own guns.
Why?
Why?
They became fearful.
Oh, yes, because the rise of anti-Semitism and the attacks on Jews. After about a year of them calling me, I really couldn't take it anymore. They're suffering.
Why did you topple the government?
I told you
why.
How
did you do it with ease?
Oh, it was not with ease. It was a tremendous amount of work. Agent in Manhattan, trying to get stories out to the press. And then I met with this political group, like I said, who ran senatorial campaigns. We got the cell phone numbers of all the people in Jackson. And we planned to text. We started a website called familiesforjacksonjustice.org. By the way, I've since abandoned the website. Anti-Semites took it over. It's like when the Republican Club, which was vehemently anti-Semitic and run by the mayor of Jackson, had a U.S. Senate candidate, Republican candidate, there for their meeting, I had spies inside the organization, non-Jews, who were telling me what was going on. So the Republican Club, they had their senatorial candidate about to speak. We then texted to everyone in Jackson 5 minutes before he spoke, here's this new website exposing the religious discrimination. I had it populated with all kinds of information, statements. The mayor of Jackson had been voice recorded, not by me, but it was sent to me, where he was asked by the chairman of the Ocean County Republican Party if these were churches, would we be opposing them? He said, absolutely not. It was discrimination against Jews. They were going crazy with all the things I was doing, putting pressure on them. There was fighting going on among the elected political people. Resignations had started. And then I put out the ad on Fox News.
New developments in that deadly attack in New Jersey. Surveillance video shows they clearly targeted that Jewish market.
There's a synagogue located next door.
There is no question that this is a hate crime.
Anti-Semitism is on the rise, and now it's coming from Jackson Township's government. Elected officials in Jackson have passed ordinances targeting Orthodox Jewish families. Exposed Township emails show officials surveilling religious Jewish families, praying in their homes. They even took revenge on a decorated veteran who testified against their anti-Semitism. Jackson officials are intimidating Jewish families, and they admit it.
If these were charges, would we be fighting? Absolutely not.
Shameful. This isn't America.
It's put on the cable network provider for that area.
Well, like, there are levels to this, okay? There are levels to this. Like, they are not, like, again, you have to admire that they do not pull punches. Like, they do not pull punches, and they're willing to go really down and dirty for their interests. Okay? So, again, I'm not advocating that Muslims imitate this kind of behavior, but, like, can we have a little bit of self-interest? Can we have a little bit, at least? You know, can we have a little bit of wala and bara? Can we, a little bit, just like a tiny little bit of Muslims doing this? That'd be great, actually. That'd be great. Like I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. Like look at the kind of the production value, the kind of money they're spending millions to attack politicians. Like so they have it's a well-oiled machine.
In the meantime, I had 2 different calls with the White House. I know you want to ask me 1,000 questions. I will answer nothing more than that.
Okay,
sorry.
why?
Because.
And to be fair, yeah, the mayor's statement seems pretty damn.
Just calling the White House. You can do that. You know, you can do that when you're a multimillionaire, I guess, and in the range of 800 million. Just call the White House. So, but it's not just about money as well. Like, recognize that, because some Muslims get the wrong idea. Like, oh, if we just throw enough money at the issue, like we're gonna get the same kind of access and the same kind of influence. It goes much deeper than that. Okay? It goes much deeper. As a simple example, like Jared Kushner. Okay, Jared Kushner and the Kushner family, which is from New Jersey, I believe, and what they do in terms of real estate in New Jersey, their connection to Donald Trump, not only in terms of business, but family. Like Donald Trump's daughter, Ivanka, is married to Jared Kushner. Okay, so you think that gives them access to the White House? Like, do you think that gives like a, just because of marriage? Just because of a family tie that's been created? So there are levels to this.
Damning, right? Him saying, I wouldn't do this. If
Yeah, right. And you heard that on the commercial.
Yeah.
By the way,
it seems discriminatory in
by the
nature.
way, he's one of my best friends now.
Life's long, yeah.
Because here's what happened.
Yeah.
More Orthodox Jews kept moving in because of the financial and demographic forces I told you about, and we started to become a larger part of the electorate. And he was coming up for re-election as mayor, and he asked someone if he could come here and apologize to me. And he came here and he said when he signed those resolutions, he knew it was a wrong thing to do. But he said he was under so much pressure from all the political types in Jackson and the people who have constituencies, and they were yelling at me. So he just signed it. And he wants to tell me now that he regrets doing it and he's going to work to get rid of those regulations. Then that result was the Orthodox Jewish community embraced him. And we supported him. And I became the largest donor to his re-election campaign. Wasn't $1 million.
He becomes an ally to the Orthodox Jewish community.
He becomes not bigoted against us.
It's the Jewish vote. This is another form of corruption. Imagine if I said, hey, I'm going to give you this amount of money and you do this. Okay, you can't do that. But if I could say, hey, I'm going to deliver you 50,000 votes that are all going to vote for you. So take Jack Ciattarelli in New Jersey. They were bragging that all of the Vlads got together, all the Jewish Vlads got together, and were voting for Jack Ciattarelli, and they did so with like 97%. That voting bloc doing that now says, like, what they do is they take that and say, hey, we got all these votes, and we're going to all vote for you, but what are you going to do for us? And if you don't vote with us, we're going to take all of these votes, and we're going to put our support behind somebody else. It's what they tried doing to Chris Pollock. I know, because I spoke to the dude who basically said it. They said it very arrogantly, where it was like, oh, we have 6,500 Jewish votes in Jackson. He is not winning. That's what they said to me.
Yeah, he won.
And he didn't just win, he won by a landslide, because a lot of people showed up for him.
Okay. And by people, we're talking non-Jewish voters?
Even Jewish voters. He got over 20% of the Jewish vote, Chris Pollock, yeah, 100%.
Okay. So the tides are shifting in Jackson, perhaps.
I think there's a group of people that, on both sides, that don't like what certain groups are doing. Remember, there's a lot of really good Jewish people that look really bad by these actions. The main comment that comes through my feed, no matter what it's about, Jackson, Brick, whatever, this town is finished. It's over. I don't know if you can stop them, and I'm not saying you can, but that doesn't mean you don't fight it. That doesn't mean you don't do what you can to do it. And you had people like Chris Pollock that he said, I'm going to do it the way of politics.
Okay, so Chris, I see these homes being built. Why are the locals so opposed to these houses being built? It seems still pretty peaceful out here. What's going on? What changes have you noticed?
Well, it's becoming rapid changes and rapid development. You're going to be seeing a heavy increase in the population, and I don't know if our town is suited to handle it. Unfortunately, I've heard from several people that some developments only particularly one group in there. It's people have gone in there and asked, hey, I'm interested in these homes. Some of them have been told it's not for them. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
It seems like it's only for one group and one community. And
who is that group?
It seems like it's only for the Jewish community. I'm going to be honest. But when you create a community, they have some of them that are adding shuls into it, essentially synagogues into it. They're fitting the houses to fit this very specific needs of one community. Do you think anybody other than that community is going to move into there?
They technically cannot discriminate against a non-Jew purchasing a home, right?
No, you cannot discriminate against anybody buying a home.
But they could just say, hey, sorry, we sold it to someone else.
Yes,
That's
they can.
legal.
I've heard people say, oh, we'll put you on the waiting list, because that's something that's going on.
LLCs are outbidding people trying to buy single-family homes.
Correct.
But you have a group of people that call themselves God's people. You are a Semite supremacist. You are a white Jewish supremacist because they're classified white. They don't want to live as a community with us. I think when I say they, again, I don't mean all of them. I do think I mean the far majority of them. I think they have their tight-knit community. I think their community lives completely separate than everybody else. They eat differently. They enjoy different things. Yes, we might drink, but everything is set in a different way.
As you ran for city council, did the rabbinical order try to buy you off?
I don't really have any relationship with the rabbis, but I have been taking a meeting with people who said they were liaisons to the rabbis. They went around touting how many votes they controlled. They told me pretty much straight out that they control certain politicians in town, and if I cater to their community, I might have access to the block vote.
Who did they say they control?
They said they control our mayor and our council president.
After a year, I couldn't bear it anymore, so I got involved. I hired a political campaign group out of Washington, D.C. that does political campaigns for Republican senators. I think they did Ted Cruz, and I wrote a letter to the mayor of Jackson telling him all the things I was going to do if they wouldn't reverse these discriminatory laws. In the meantime, there's another Jewish group called the Aguda that had a lawsuit against Jackson based on RLUIPA. That's the Religious Land Use Institutionalized Persons Act. And it says that the municipality, it's a law, federal law, municipality is not allowed to discriminate based upon religion. And in their lawsuit, then showed all the emails from Jackson, all the things they were doing, conspiring against and executing to try to make life miserable for Orthodox Jews there.
But you went to work, and what happened next?
I went to Washington. I met with Ronna McDaniel, who was the head of the Republican National Committee, and the Speaker of the House at the time was Kevin McCarthy. He was actually in their conference room. So I met with both of them, showed them what was going on. They were shocked.
No, I think there's a lot to learn from the community. That's why I liked what we did yesterday. Their tactics benefit them. They are a solitary mass. They actually are a community. You can't deny it. They are not fighting over Trump or Biden. They're not fighting over left or right. They're not fighting over masked or unmasked.
Us versus the world.
It's antimatter, right? It's like everyone in our towns, we're fighting against antimatter. We're not focused on what actually matters. We're not picking each other up. We're not one community. And I'm not talking about communism or any of that shit.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about caring about the person. They hitchhike.
What other world will you see hitchhiking in America in 2026?
Nonstop, yeah.
That's a testament to how high trusting they all are.
So there's something to be said about that. And there's a lot, I would love to see our kids playing again off of, getting out on bikes and getting out playing basketball and football and all of those things. I would love to see that. I'd love to see us act a little bit more like that.
We need to fight back against the state.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like that kind of sense of community is lost when you're in these atomized liberal societies, secular societies. Like, so many groups, not just religious groups, want to preserve what's been lost in terms of dedication to God, dedication to family, to marriage, to community. Like those things have been bulldozed by the liberal secular hegemon. And so Jews, this is their solution. This is their solution. Other people assimilate. Other people are they just assimilate to that dominant force.
God, we've had large lawsuits against us because they tried to keep out this problem. We've had the Department of Justice come down on us. Billionaires connected to the president involved in all this. What's happening in this little town in Jersey is bigger than people think.
And what's happening here in Jackson, will that become a problem in other small towns?
It's already a problem in all the surrounding towns.
Is the cop gonna go? Okay. Get a shot of the cop. We got the corrupt police pulling us over for what? We'll find out. We may be in a corrupt hellhole. Double cop car. We're getting pulled over. We got double police, potentially nothing better to do. Let's find out. We weren't speeding. We weren't violating the law from the best of my understanding.
You have your driver's license registration?
What am I being pulled over for?
I'll tell you that soon as you
Is there
give me-
probable cause?
Yes, there is.
What
we got
exactly
a call.
is that?
We got a call on our phones
For
a suspicious person. With,
what's
with
suspicious
video,
about me?
With video cameras.
There's nothing
in front of a
suspicious
school.
about expressing our First Amendment right.
No,
though.
you're good.
So what am I being pulled over for?
We got a call. Just so you know, you're being audio and visual recorded.
Sure,
okay?
likewise.
So we got a call from dispatch.
Sure.
Saying there's a vehicle.
Okay.
With 2 men in it, videotaping in front of a school. When we get a call for that, that's our probable cause to stop you because they described your vehicle. So I'm asking you. What's illegal about the fact that we're recording? There's nothing illegal about it.
Sure.
I don't care that you're recording because I'm recording too. I just don't know
all
who
ears.
you are. And I don't. But for my safety, I want you back in the car.
Well,
Okay. So
Yeah.
back to me talking to you.
my name's Tyler, by the way. How are
Jonathan
you?
Basil.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Good to meet you, yeah.
I'm stopping you. Can I have your credentials, please?
Do I have an obligation to self-identify right now?
I need you to identify yourself on this stop.
Yeah, no, I totally get where you're coming from.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
filming
it's a
a little
lawful stop
documentary
because they
piece.
described your vehicle to a T.
Totally get it. I'm just trying to figure out if there's
Can
actual...
I just ask you a question?
Yeah, I can tell you what we're up to if that's...
I just want to know who you are.
Yeah, my name's Tyler.
Oh, very good. My name is
Yeah.
Jonathan. Like, explain that
Yeah,
to
good
you.
to meet you.
I stopped you.
Totally get it. Yeah, we're just talking about the changes in the town
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
We went to that school specifically
Okay,
because
but
it's shut
yeah,
down.
it's
or-
very. You see what I'm saying? Like when you
To-
have a camera
Well,
in
sure.
front of a school with kids. I mean,
can
if my
understand.
kids go to that school,
Sure.
I wouldn't want my kids to be video recorded.
Sure, we
purposes,
didn't enter the school. We were on the
confidentiality.
sidewalk,
It
basically,
doesn't
yeah.
matter if you're in a certain distance of a school.
Okay.
by
All right,
yourself.
sure. You can have it.
And just do me a favor. Keep your hands on the steering wheel when you do so. Thank you. so
Hands on the
much.
steering wheel.
Yeah, I just don't know what's in the car. Like I said, I don't know
Come
who you are.
on.
I don't know who you are.
That seems a little extra.
No, that's how
That's
I am.
definitely extra, but you can have it. There you go.
Thank you so much. I'm not saying I'm giving.
Dangerous anti-Semites. This is how you're treated. This is how you're treated in a country that's controlled by a certain group. Okay, imagine if you're Palestinian. Imagine if you're trying to live on the land of your forefathers for generations, for literally over 1,000 years. You're trying to live, and this is how they treat Americans in America. Imagine how Palestinians get treated in the Jewish state, in the only Jewish state. So visualize that. SubhanAllah. Like, this is like whatever we're seeing here. Like, if you're outraged by this, the Palestinians are experiencing 1,000 times worse. They have been experiencing it 1,000 times worse. So your outrage should be 1,000 times more.
You a ticket or
Sure.
anything like that? I'm just identifying.
You got the
who
badge,
you are.
man. Yeah, do your thing.
No, it has nothing to do with having the badge or anything
Okay,
like that.
then.
Stay near the car, okay? Don't come near us.
Is this slightly excessive?
It's absolutely excessive.
Seems like a bully tactic. Run around.
Yeah, well, I don't know who placed that phone call.
How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up?
How are you?
How we doing?
Doing good, getting pulled over. You know what we're up against? Small town police department, small town politics, lots of money. All right, so apparently the reason why these cops came out of thin air is because who just got called?
Well, we're going to find out. The council president just called me.
So who is Morty Bernstein?
He is the council president in Jackson, New Jersey, and the most powerful man in the town.
Does he have the police in his pocket?
I don't think he has the police in his pocket at all, but the man does have an incredible amount of power. He's involved in political action committees with very rich and powerful developers, a lot of political connections.
Who are we messing with here right now, Chris? Was this a mistake? Is this video a mistake, man?
I'm going to be honest, the powers out here are pretty immense. Like I said, it goes up. You have billionaires from Lakewood being involved in what's going on in Jackson. People connected to the President of the United States.
If we zoom out, where does this all end?
Right now, it's gone to every town on the outskirts of Lakewood. They're buying up everything. Even if they're not occupying things, things are being bought up. I always say it's a real life game of Monopoly. So it's gone into Brick, and it's gone into Howell, and it's gone into Jackson and Toms River. Now it's going into Manchester. There are large portions of property being bought in South Jersey. We cannot keep up with this.
How do you combat a group of people chosen by God practicing rampant ethno-nepotism?
Here's a problem, bro. One Jewish dude in Manchester said to me this. You guys will never come together because you have no shared sense of purpose. And that hit me because he's fucking right. Jews have a shared sense of purpose in what their outcome's going to be. And that's to expand the religion, that's expand their people. We don't have a shared sense of purpose. We're too busy arguing with each other. We're too busy talking Trump. We're too busy yelling about ICE. We're too busy focusing on Epstein's list. We don't have a shared sense of what is America and what are we trying to accomplish together. Americans don't have a shared sense of purpose about America. Jews have a shared...
Like, bad news. Okay, bad news for you Americans. There is nothing there. Like, that's not enough. Like, putting up the American flag and a picture of, you know, the supposed first steps on the moon, that's not enough of a culture to unite a people for a purpose. And I had this debate with a white nationalist where we were debating, it was JF Grapey, and we're debating whether religion or race is a more cohesive, coherent, effective source of identity. Your identity, who you are. Are you Muslim first or Iranian first? Are you Christian first or white first? Like, what is the basis for your identity? And I was arguing, obviously, religion is the more robust, more effective basis for identity. And as a white nationalist, JF Grapey was saying, no, it's race. And I gave my opening argument. I made several arguments. But the main argument that I made is that race is just not robust. It's not like thick enough. It's not sticky enough. In a secularized world, especially, to maintain like a shared purpose. Like, your race is not a purpose. A religion is a purpose. A religion gives you a purpose, a metaphysical worldview, understanding of who you are, where you came from, where you're going, the stories or the narratives that will allow you to make sense of who you are and where you're going and where your community is with respect to the rest of the world. Like, that's something that comes from religion. That's something that comes from a holy book. And if you're secularized, you don't have access to that. And just appealing to your race and saying, well, we're white, or we're black, or we're yellow, or we're brown, like, it's not enough. It's not enough to actually rally around. And that's a hard truth that Americans are going to have to realize. And I think that's the big reason a lot of Americans are becoming Muslim. And a lot of Americans are actually realizing that maybe actually we need to go back to Christianity. The unfortunate thing for those Christians, or, you know, the reality is that it's not easy to go from being an atheist to being a religious Christian, or to being like an a-religious, secularized. Maybe you're not an atheist, but you have been unchurched. It's hard to re-enchant yourself with Christianity and to believe it at that level to such a degree that you actually change your lifestyle, to change the way that you behave and to do things. Yeah, a minority can do it, but majority won't be able to. So in a sense, it's kind of a lost cause. Like, that's how bad secularism is. Like, that's how toxic it is, that once your society secularizes, it's hard to unring that bell. That's the bad news. And just like waving the American flag and like, oh, we love nachos or we love like American food. We love buffalo wings. Like, that's not enough to rally a people and to create a cohesive bloc that can act politically in the interests of that group. Like, that's just the reality.
Sense of purpose in what their outcome's going to be. The only way that you're going to stop it, and the only way you can fight back about it, is by getting people that have a shared sense of purpose in the numbers that matter. Getting enough people with their eyes open to say, holy shit, something has to be done here. You have to get rid of the RLUIPA laws. I don't think it's ever been challenged by the Supreme Court. It has to be taken to the Supreme Court. I think it violates the Constitution. You have to fight fire with bigger fire. And the sad part about it is they have the biggest fires.
And that's the end on that note. So, yeah, so that's it. That is the documentary, Tyler Oliveira, on his channel. Go watch it. You can support him. People are saying that his Patreon has been taken down. But, you know, I think that was a really good report. Like, that is, you know, he should be commended for that, and he should be supported for that work, and he should be shielded because he's going to get a lot of lawsuits. So I hope that he keeps fighting. I hope that he keeps doing this kind of work, and he won't back down. That's my hope. But we should do our part to support him as well. So yeah, that's my analysis. I hope that you enjoyed it. I appreciate everyone contributing in the chat. Thank you to everyone who sent super chats. I didn't get to all of them. I displayed most of them. Some of them were things I have addressed elsewhere, so I'm not going to rehash it. But yeah, appreciate everyone for the contributions, and I hope you enjoy the rest of today. If it's already iftar time for you, enjoy your iftar. I have iftar in about a couple of hours myself, so looking forward to that, and then Tarawih. So we'll be back later today or later this week with another show, inshallah. And there's going to be a video that hopefully I'll have released if I can get it edited by tomorrow morning on Suhoor Fest. You might like that. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Like the video. Leave me a comment. We'll have more Haqiqat shows coming later this week. And until next time, I'll see you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.